Hello, welcome to the Illuminerdi. I told you guys we were playing the intro, and they're still.
Sorry.
Welcome to the show. We've had a wonderful start so far. I've got like a 100-foot Ethernet cable running into my room to make this stream happen. You're here today. That's okay. No idea what's going on. Wi-Fi is working just fine on literally everything else but my computer, so that's great. But we're here anyway, and so yep. What's going on? This is all connected to the Marvel DC Star Wars recap show here, of course, on the Illuminerdi. I'm one of your hosts, Bryce, a writer and editor for the Illuminerdi.com, and these are our other hosts.
What's up, guys? Richard Nevins. So for reference, I can't do the show with glasses on because the stupid thing reflects. So I'm just going into this literally blind, but I'm here. I'm going for it, and glad to be here.
There we go.
Hey everybody. Caitlin Tyrrell, writer at the Illuminerdi. We got a pretty fun show for you. We've got some Bad Batch as usual. We got a bit of a sad update on one of the Star Wars shows. In the Marvel side, we've got some of our own stories to talk about, like
very fun
Suma Gorath, Doctor Strange stuff going on.
If you like green one-eyed octopuses, this is the show for you.
We got a little bit of a Spider-Man update, and we got I think we're going to talk Loki, because Loki just keeps dropping stuff, so we're not going to be specific. We're just going to talk about all the teasers that have kind of been rolling out. With DC, we have a Green Lantern exclusive that we dropped last week. We've got some Black Adam and the Batman stuff that came out, and we got some more DC animated, which I am beyond excited for. So we got a pretty packed show, but it's going to be a blast. So I think we will start, as we usually do, with the Bad Batch.
Oh, here we go.
Yeah, so episode 4 of the Bad Batch.
This, I think, was the first real filler episode.
It was a good one, though.
Yeah, filler does not mean bad. Like we talked about other ones maybe feeling like a filler. This was truly a filler, because I feel like it could have been dropped in kind of anywhere in the season and still worked. Mm-hmm. But it was probably, like, so far, maybe my second favorite, because it was just a blast.
For sure.
Yeah. Now, the only thing that would keep it from being a filler is we have to see, spoiler alert from here, obviously.
Yeah.
I'm thinking where the Fennec Shan stuff comes in, because, like, as somebody who hasn't caught up on all the Star Wars yet, and I know how awesome she is from all the stuff I've heard from The Mandalorian, Fennec Shan was awesome in this episode, and, just Ming-Na Wen being badass again.
Yep.
First off, it's Ming-Na Wen, so it can't go wrong.
Oh yeah, duh. I mean, this is Mulan, Melinda May, and Fennec Shan, literally all in one person.
Well, yeah, and we also got a little more of like the Empire, sending Fennec Shan to get Omega, so they can continue to make more clones of her. Is that correct?
We don't know exactly who's sending her. The theories have kind of been like, maybe it's the Empire, maybe it's the Kaminoans behind the Empire's back, maybe it's Jabba the Hutt as like a middleman for one of them. I'm hoping it's Jabba for the Kaminoans, just because that'd be cool.
That'd be cool, yeah.
So we're not exactly sure. I mean, Fennec's a badass. You know that from The Mandalorian, because she gets, like, it was so funny, because in the first season, everyone's like, oh, that was such a wasted character. Not anymore. She's like,
well, she's getting her own show.
Right? She's usually in the Bad Batch. She's a big part of season 2 Mandalorian. Now she's going to be in the spinoff, like, Boba Fett show. So you're like, nope, they know what they're doing.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
But no, Fennec's awesome. I mean, she's like a sniper. She's an assassin, mercenary. Like, she's going to be a badass. And I loved the voice acting in it with her, because you could tell, like, she was sounding sincere, but also just slightly bit sinister when she was kind of getting Omega to come with her at first. It was just this perfect combination of, oh, you can trust me. I have a knife behind my back.
I mean, that's the thing about Ming-Na Wen, too, is, like, as fantastic as she is, in live action, she's also an incredible voice actor. Yeah. I mean, this is the woman who brought Mulan to life. This is over 20 years ago. So, no, fantastic job by her. She, nailed it as always. Yeah. And, Fennec was awesome.
I can't wait for more of Fennec. I mean, we got to get more of Fennec.
Have to.
Yeah.
And we, like Bryce said, we got more of the Empire kind of world building. We saw our first planet that was actually celebrating the end of the war. So I thought that was really cool because we've seen these different versions.
Yeah, I thought that was awesome actually because we've never really seen, because I mean obviously people would have to support the Empire for the Empire to exist, and we don't really get to see a lot of that. We see a lot of the rebellion and people rebelling against the Empire, but in this episode we actually saw some people celebrating the end of the war and celebrating the introduction of the Empire, and I thought that was really something that was really cool to see and something that we rarely see in Star Wars because it's all Empire's bad, which they are. Which they are, but I mean, obviously the Empire has to have supporters for the Empire to exist. So I thought that was really cool.
Yeah, and like I think for me, that's the thing I'm loving the most about this show is that more than anything, it really is expanding on everything that we've missed so far, like from the end of episode 3, before Rogue One, before episode 4 and everything. And we really get a sense of a feel for like how the universe is between those times and like what exactly is going on in these other planets.
Yeah, the shows and the animated shows especially, they very much feel like world building more than anything else. And I love that the planet that was celebrating the end of the Empire was Pantora, which we had heard about but never seen on Clone Wars. We knew the senator from Pantora. We met 2 of the different leaders from Pantora. So it was something that was very much a part of the Republic. So for them to be celebrating the Empire made sense because to them, the Empire is essentially Republic 2.0 without the corruption, and that ended the war. So I thought it was a perfect choice to do that because you get kind of the Easter egg for the Clone Wars fans, and you have the logic behind it of if you don't know Clone Wars, it still works. If you know Clone Wars, you're like, oh, there's a deeper layer to it. So I thought it was an excellent choice. And I'm so excited to see more of the Empire world building because, like, obviously we all know they're evil, but for them to rise to power in the way that they did, it's not like they could have been fighting every single planet every single time along the way. They had to have support. So I'm excited for it.
Yeah.
And one of our favorite parts, Echo's undercover droid.
Oh my God, that was amazing. Droid Echo was great.
Yeah. I mean, I remember I was watching the episode and I go, wow, that's weird. Echo looks like a droid. That's a weird outfit for him. And then they go and pretend, and then the shopkeeper or whatever thinks that he is a droid, and then Hunter literally haggles with him and sells Echo.
Yep. No, 100%. I think during the watch log, I'm like, he looks like, and then he flips the helmet down. I'm like, oh, a droid. He looks like a droid. Okay.
Yeah.
And it's like this undercover thing. And then it kind of felt like the first bit of personality we saw with Echo.
Yeah.
Where like he really made sense in the team because you're like, oh, this is how he hides in plain sight.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, this is how he can contribute by so I'm excited to see more of Echo, and it was just his like outrage at how little he was offered was amazing.
Like, you know what just came to mind, Caitlin, you'll totally get this. This felt like Sean and Gus from Psych in Star Wars. Like what are you doing?
100%.
It's like I could just totally have heard Echo going, you must be out of your damn mind.
I love these like 200 credits.
He basically said that.
Pretty much.
And I love it's like 200 credits. I am worth more than 200 credits. You better be asking for more. I'm like, that's amazing. That's
seriously.
So
he knows his self-worth.
Right? And he's still upset even when the price they haggled to. He's still like, really?
What did it end up at like 3,000 or something?
Yeah.
I think.
It was great. And then all the droids that he basically kind of recruited and kind of kidnapped.
Yeah, recruited, kidnapped, freed, somewhere in the middle.
And then Wrecker, again, he wasn't huge in the episode, but the few scenes he had, I thought really shined. I liked that he was like had Omega's back, where it was like to Fennec, you mess with the kid, you mess with me. And his fight with Fennec was just hilarious because you expect Wrecker to win. And
well, Wrecker has lost almost every single fight that he's been in throughout this show, I think, so far.
Yeah, like you would think you would have stood a chance against her, not just one hit and you're down.
Well, I think
not even a hit.
He's used to fighting droids.
Right.
True.
So it's not like they're strategic. They're basically like, blast them! Ah! Yeah, like
blast them!
That's the entirety of the battle droid. Whereas Fennec fought smart. She used his momentum.
Yeah.
It was like, I loved it, but it
Because
was
she's
also,
an actual human
Yeah,
person
Fennec is no
fighting
battle
him.
droid.
So I thought it was
No.
great, but there was that little moment of, really, Wrecker? Come on, man.
Come on, man.
Oh, man.
And then I think the last big thing we got to talk about was the car chase.
Yeah,
Oh,
that was
yeah.
a lot of fun.
Best car chase since episode 2.
Of Star Wars.
Yeah,
not
of Star Wars,
no.
yeah.
Yeah. Oh, no. Yeah, Star Wars episode 2, Attack of the Clones, not episode 2 of the Bad Batch.
Yeah.
For clarification. Fair enough. Yeah.
No, I thought it was great. Like, that was a long car chase. That was a good chunk of the episode was a car chase.
That was like 5-10 minutes, yeah?
Yeah.
Mhm.
I thought it was really fun. I thought it was really well done. It showed, again, like Omega kind of helping, but also she didn't know what's going on. It showed kind of the strategic mindset of Omega, Hunter, and Fennec. And then I also just love the dude, totally no idea what's going on, just like jamming while he's driving. And his truck
That was
is destroyed.
amazing. I need to know what the music scene in the Star Wars universe is like outside of the Cantina band.
Right? We just need an episode of someone like exploring the underground music scene.
So even just flipping through the radio, right?
Yeah.
Also, we got Donnie Pearson in the chat again. Thank you so much for joining us, Donnie.
Yeah, what's going on, Donnie?
He's with us almost every week for this and the watch alongs.
And the Retro Sentai wrap up. So.
Oh yeah.
But no, I thought the car chase was fun. I mean, again, it didn't move the plot. The episode didn't move the plot forward in a really substantial way. We had a little bit of like, okay, they're actively getting chased by bounty hunters like Fennec.
Mm-hmm.
And that was about it. But I think it was still something that it's going to stick in your head because it was just a blast to watch. Yeah. It's like kind of that classic Star Wars, okay, this is awesome feel to it.
This felt very Star Wars. So
yeah.
It did.
So
yeah.
especially with the car chase, that was a lot of fun, and the humor was really good in this episode as well. I mean, Star Wars. Really funny. Star Wars does have some humor, believe it or not.
Hit and miss, but yeah.
The sequels were basically all of it, actually. But you know, there's been humor every once in a while in Star Wars, and I think this did actually a really good job with it. So I love the Echo haggling scene. That was hilarious.
That's one of my top 2 or 3 scenes of the whole series so far.
that's amazing.
Yeah.
So,
but yeah, no, like in terms of all 4 episodes, like you said, Kayla, this was probably my second favorite one outside of the pilot. Just for like, not even for story building, just because, like we said, it didn't really build the story that much, but just the plot, the action, the comedy, it was all great.
Yeah, I mean, I think for me right now, it's 1, 4, 3, 2.
Yeah, that's probably it.
Yeah.
For 3, for me, it's because of Crosshair.
Yeah, definitely. I think if Crosshair had been in that episode more, I think I would have put it higher.
Yeah, I still think if they just had kind of the Bad Batch crew at the first scene and the last scene, it would have worked better.
Totally, I agree.
But do we have any speculation for what we're going to see next week? I am hoping we finally get them doing some mercenary jobs.
I hope so. I mean, yeah, we got to get them doing that at some point. It's been 4 episodes already, so.
Yeah,
I think you're probably gonna ask this like next week and every week until Bad Batch is over, and then I think my answer for every week will probably be Rex. So
totally fair.
I'm really looking forward to Rex. I'm looking forward to what he's going to be doing in this show because there's quite the gap between Clone Wars and Rebels. So I like to see what he's been doing and how he connects to all of this and what he's going to be doing with the Bad Batch. And of course, since it is a Dave Filoni show, Ahsoka will actually be in this as well. So that's not confirmed.
Not confirmed, but highly assumed.
So I'm looking forward
very
to Ahsoka
much assumed.
as well.
Filoni and Ahsoka is a tag team duo.
If she's in this season, she'll be in the next season, and if she's not in that season, she'll be in the season after that. And so she'll show up at some point.
She was one of the main characters in Clone Wars. She's in Rebels, I very, very highly assume. And then she's in The Mandalorian. So
she's in like season 2 of Rebels and pops in again near the end.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
And then she's also in Star Wars Ahsoka, surprisingly.
She will.
She makes a surprise cameo in Star Wars Ahsoka, I heard.
Yeah.
Just a little rumor.
title.
But,
yeah. The one named after her, right?
And then there were rumors that Bo-Katan was going to show up in this, so I'm hoping for that. And I'm also hoping we just get some of the characters like Cad Bane, Hondo. Cool. I think Boba Fett, this would be a really good place to like drop in because we get a little bit more backstory for him. But I mean, like, there's so many Clone War characters that they can use that I'm hoping they do. I mean, Rex especially, like you were saying, Bryce, there's such a gap between the end of Clone Wars and Rebels, where all of a sudden he lives with like Gregor and Wolf on like a walker. So, like, how did he find them? How did they get their inhibitor chips out? What is he doing with the Bad Batch? Like, you know, there's so many questions. We know we're going to see him, but I want to know when. And I'm going to guess that's probably going to be later in the season because it looked like Omega had like her like laser bow and arrow at that point, and I don't think we're going to get that the next episode, I would assume. I think we're going to take a minute to get there.
I think we're going to get it in every single episode. Bryce is going to become a series regular because I want him to be. And so, no. But yeah, I mean, regardless.
I would be on board for that. I would be totally happy with that.
Hey, how about we get Captain Rex a Star Wars story? How does that sound?
Yeah. And one other thing I want to see besides all the stuff that you guys mentioned, I want to see some of the Hutt stuff. I want to see like maybe Jabba the Hutt come back. Maybe he's connected to the Fennec stuff. I mean, I don't know how he would come back in, but there's definitely an avenue for it.
I mean, Jabba has bounty hunters. Like, that's one of his So having Fennec or Cad Bane or Boba Fett or something, like one of the other bounty hunters working for him would make sense. Darth Maul would be really freaking cool. And he's got this criminal thing going on, and he also has the Force. So I wouldn't be shocked if you could, like, because he could tell that like Anakin Skywalker was going to be Darth Vader. So I wouldn't be shocked if he could tell like there's some weird kind of funky clone out there with Omega, because we don't know what's up with her. We know there's something, and a lot of people are thinking it's Force sensitive, which maybe. I'm not going to say it's not. Maybe
we'll see.
So yeah, I think there's a lot of possibilities. I'm also just hoping we get like a Star Wars Criminal Underground show.
Yeah,
like.
We were supposed to get one from George Lucas way back in the day, but that never came to be.
Yeah, I'd love a Darth Maul show because I think that'd be a perfect place to really look at the Hutts and the Pikes and Crimson Dawn, all of it. I think that would be amazing.
They need to do a Crimson Dawn show. Bring back
Kira.
Kira, Emilia Clarke, and whoever would play Darth Maul. Ray Park is kind of controversial right now, right? So maybe they could bring in Sam Witwer and do it, but
I love Sam Witwer's voice for Darth Maul. He's so like dramatic and Shakespearean. It's amazing.
He does a good job with it,
So there we go. I that's what I've wanted ever since Solo. Like I feel like Solo is you either love it or you absolutely despise it, and I'm one of the people who love it. So
I love it.
So I really want that Crimson Dawn show, like bad. Like, because it's just like Solo did so bad in the box office that I know that we're never going to get a Solo 2, but they need to continue that story because they set up some really cool stuff in Solo that I really want to see play out.
And they played with it a lot in the last couple seasons of Clone Wars too, with Darth Maul creating his like Shadow Collective Syndicate. So even if he doesn't have control of that anymore, we still know about those. So seeing the criminal underground, like underworld exist and how they interact and stuff, like it'd be really cool, you know? Yeah. So I think they need to get on that because you could basically have a Star Wars gangster show.
Yeah, for sure.
Like, why would you not do that?
Star Wars gangster sounds awesome.
Right? So I think that is our Bad Batch for this week. Join us on Thursday night at 11:40 p.m. Pacific for the Star Wars Watch Along, where we'll be watching episode 5 of the Bad Batch. It is me, Richard, Josh, and Rob. We have a lot of fun. We talk about Star Wars. We talk about some other nerdy stuff that is Star Wars adjacent.
Sometimes we don't talk about Star Wars really at all during the episode.
So yeah, make sure you tune in for that. And then of course, join us here again next week to talk more Bad Batch again. But we got some more Star Wars news. We got some Darksaber news. That's interesting.
Yeah. For any of you Disney park fans out there. So just to start off, you guys know at Disneyland where you can build your own lightsaber and everything. And then there's all those collectible items. So this is not quite that, But at Disney World, there is now a like full-blown replica Darksaber that you could buy. What's it like, $200 or something?
$200, yeah. Like, you better want that Darksaber, and you're not
If you've got
swinging it around and hoping it doesn't break.
If you got $200 spare to spare after paying for a trip to Disney World, I mean, by all means, go for it. Get your Darksaber. But yeah, I mean, it first showed up in Clone Wars. It's an awesome lightsaber kind of thing, and I mean, it's probably an awesome collectible.
Yeah, Darksaber's got an awesome history. It's Clone Wars, Rebels, Mandalorian. I'm assuming it's going to be a big part of the next season of Mandalorian. It's Mandalore's like lightsaber, basically, from the first Mandalore who became a Jedi. And then his like clan, House Vizsla, stole it back, and it basically became kind of the symbol for the Mandalorian leadership. So there's a lot of really cool lore and history behind it. It is also a black lightsaber, so it's just epic.
Yeah. So it's just awesome.
And as Richard said, this is not the build your own lightsaber section. This is a like nice collectible lightsaber that they sell. So it is $200. It's not the kind you swing around and are like hitting everything and you're like, it's fine.
No.
But yeah, no, definitely. If you want to go to Disney World and you want to get a $200 lightsaber.
So what you're saying is you can't get this at Target.
No.
I don't think so.
I would assume. I mean, you can probably get it at Target. It's not going to be as good. It's probably going to be
one. You can probably make one from supplies at Target.
Probably be about $50 or whatever, but
it's not 200.
No.
Oh man, but yeah. Definitely check that out if you can. I mean, even if you're just at Disney World and you can't buy it, I'd still go look at it.
It's like, hey, cool. Can I just take a peek at the Darksaber, please?
Window shop for it.
Yeah, for sure. And then we got a little bit of sadder news on the Star Wars front. It looks like Rangers of the New Republic is no longer in active development.
Oh, shucks.
Yeah.
I'm not 100% shocked. I'm a little bummed because that was going to be kind of an interesting show in a way that we hadn't really seen it, because we haven't really seen the New Republic at all, similar to how we're seeing the Empire get built. I was hoping we'd see some more world building and lore with that, but they kind of don't have their organic, like, natural segue into that at the moment. So I'm hoping next year maybe we get a new character introduced in season 3 of The Mandalorian that opens up that possibility again.
I mean, this was probably the show I was least excited for, so it's not really a big major loss for me. I mean, it seems like they lost their main character. I mean, it seems like a certain character was definitely supposed to be the starring role in this series, and she just kind of disappeared. Nobody knows what happened to her, but yeah, unfortunately, I don't think she'll be in anything serious for a long time, but any serious production for a long time. But you know, it is I will sympathize and say that it's definitely very sad for the people who are working on that, and I hope people didn't lose their jobs. I hope people, like, maybe people who are working on Rangers moved on to like Ahsoka or maybe another one of the spinoffs, you know. But yeah, it really does stink for the people who are working on it, and it really stinks that one person can ruin a project like that. It really watch what you say online, folks.
I will preface this by saying we don't know that is why. We're assuming.
I'm assuming.
But also, we're assuming that's why, because logically it makes sense.
I could be talking about anyone,
but
it could be something else. But I mean, on the bright side, it's no longer in active development. That to me means it's not scrapped, so it could come back.
Yeah.
And it's not like we're losing one of 3 Star Wars shows coming out. There's a lot of Star Wars. We're okay.
Yeah. And like, that's the thing with me is they said it's just not in active development. So maybe they're waiting for somebody to pop up in Book of Boba Fett or season 3 of Mando. You know, I could see them.
Book of Boba Fett would be the perfect place to bring in a Marshall.
Yeah, totally. Like, they could totally find a new character sometime in the next 2 years and bring it back in active development if they want to go that route.
I hope they do something like that, or I even hope that maybe they recast, because what they were doing with what they were doing with Cara Dune was really awesome. Like, I was really excited for where they were taking their character, her being from Alderaan. I thought that was a really interesting twist. So I hope they recast. Because if they just scrap the character, then that's just such a waste of potential. And
I was so interested in having a character from Alderaan. I so wanted to see like the long-term effects of that, because we never really see Leia be able to deal with it because there's just no time. So I really wanted to see someone actually dealing with the trauma of your entire planet and everyone you knew is gone. Yeah, because even like the Mandalorians, they still find other Mandalorians. But this is literally your planet exploded.
Yeah.
Everything. Yeah.
So I'm hoping we get, if not her, we get another character from Alderaan so it can be explored.
I mean, if it's not Cara Dune, make it Cara Dune, but name different. Because, you know, like, basically, like, that's what I want. Because, I mean, they were going down a very interesting path with Cara Dune. And, you know, they were going in an interesting path on Cara Dune, is what I will say on that.
I'll say with this, I'm not counting this show completely out right now. There's still a chance it could survive later on.
Oh, for sure. I mean, I don't think they ever scrap stuff completely. Think about the last season of Clone Wars. They didn't know that was going to happen, and then it did. So they brought some of the stories that they had wanted to do earlier out to really get into. So I think that I don't think Star Wars is ever a place where if something's not in active development, it's completely dead.
For sure. Yeah.
And I think our last bit of Star Wars news was very funny because Twitter exploded when it was I guess announced but not really announced that Dave Filoni is the serving as executive creative director at Lucasfilm. He's been doing that for like a year.
All of our reactions.
Yeah, don't get me wrong. I'm happy about it. I think he's doing great. But
not one bit shocking.
Yeah, it's not like exactly new information. I think it was just that it finally got loaded onto the Lucasfilm website and
they updated the website.
Yeah. So I just found that funny more than anything else because they were like, finally. And
I mean, he deserves it, so congratulations.
Sure.
Yeah.
I mean,
congratulations on your job you got a year ago, I guess. I don't know why.
Oh, man. But, I mean, the more Filoni, the better.
Yeah, absolutely. 100%. And Favreau, too. I think they need to bring in Favreau in a major role on Lucasfilm because he's been doing really good with Mando so far. So
yeah.
He wants a major role in Lucasfilm. I think he's happy with because he fully writes most of the scripts. Yeah. So I don't see him also being like, I'll also showrun some stuff. It's cool.
Well, he has. Yeah. He was showrunner on Mando, right? And he's a showrunner on Boba in Ahsoka.
But he's writing those. I don't think he's writing Ahsoka, but I think he's writing Boba.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Literally, you just give a franchise to Jon Favreau, and he's going to make it either start it off fantastically or just keep up the success that it's already got.
Remember the MCU? Oh, wait, it's still going?
They're all over to DC.
Yeah, remember that franchise that Jon Favreau started 13 years ago that's still going ridiculously strong?
Oh, yeah, and he built the Star Wars live action shows. That's not a thing without him.
Yeah, he's arguably the most important name in film right now, potentially.
Have him jump over to DC. Give them some help.
Oh God, seriously, Jon Favreau with DC. Whew.
Yeah, that would be
seriously.
Insane.
They need a Jon Favreau.
Now, this is off topic, but what do you think he would do over at DC?
I think it depends on what characters he likes. I think he would really, because I mean, part of their issues they didn't have a good.
What do you want to see him do?
Personally, I want to get into some of the smaller characters in DC to start, because I wouldn't mind a DC universe where Superman and Batman and Wonder Woman already exist, so we don't really get their building up stories. We just have kind of the smaller characters and have them come into it.
Yeah,
I would like that. I think that'd be cool.
Sure.
I also really just want to see so Joker worked, so have other movies similar to that, because Batman has an awesome rogues gallery. So do origin stories for the different rogues. I think that'd be really cool.
I mean, Batman has arguably the best rogues gallery, probably outside of Spider-Man. They're right neck and neck.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I think that would be really cool. I think Favreau could really get into some of the smaller DC characters that are either low-level A characters or kind of B characters to build out this universe to start, and then you get into Justice League.
Well, I mean, keep in mind nobody cared about Iron Man before Iron Man came out, so
100%.
He was a D-lister tops. Yeah.
Yep. Marvel was Spider-Man and X-Men and kind of Fantastic Four. Those were their bigs.
Semi-Hulk.
Yeah, those were their bigs, and then Iron Man is Iron Man built the MCU.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, Robert Downey Jr. turned Iron Man into a household name, and Jon Favreau. So
yeah. So I think that having some of those smaller characters that don't get a lot of screen time would be a good call. Because I mean, like Batman's awesome. He's also been done to death. So at this point, anytime you get a Batman movie, it gets compared to every other Batman movie.
Yeah.
Because there's been like 6 different Batman series before.
Yeah. So that's my 2 cents. That's what I would like to see.
Yeah. Like, as much as I would love seeing Favreau take on Batman, Batman's been done to death. Like, I mean, I think the Batman is going to be really good. I'm excited for it, but it's also another Batman movie.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind having, like, I definitely think if you're rebuilding the DC universe, you have to have Batman, you have to have Superman, you have to have Wonder Woman.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
But maybe have them be kind of these legacy characters that have existed for a little while.
For sure, yeah.
Like, maybe do Nightwing first.
Oh, that's my favorite superhero. That would be amazing. I
think Bryce would die if that happened.
I think I would roll over from happiness. Like if Jon Favreau did a Nightwing movie. Okay, that's it. Jon Favreau needs to do.
That's what has to happen.
Yep. I will be
whatever happens.
Making emails, petitions, and until it is done.
Oh man, whatever happens, Jon Favreau should build a DCU back up because God knows it needs it.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Let us know in the chat who you think Jon Favreau should be, like what DC character you think Jon Favreau should do a movie for.
That's a great question, actually. Yeah, tell us in the chat.
But I think that is our big Star Wars stuff this week.
Yeah, real quick before we move on to Marvel, we do have a super chat feature here on the channel, so it helps out the show a ton. So definitely, if that's something you're able to do / willing to do, definitely send in a super chat. And I believe Richard actually was telling me before the show that if you guys send in a super chat, he would read off some Doctor Strange lines in his own Suma Gorath voice. So definitely,
he doesn't know what he sounds like, so he'll do a different one every.
Should we go on to Marvel, guys? I
will say before we move on to Marvel, I will say this every week. I'm hoping for more Star Wars news all the time.
I mean, Bad Batch is really helping us out right now on the Star Wars front, but it's been kind of slow on that front recently.
I feel like they're a little, like, other than Mando season 2, we don't, like, they keep stuff a little more under wraps.
Close to the vest, yeah.
Other than Mando season 2.
I don't know if it's that or if it's just that because Marvel is so active all the time that people are more, like, scoping that out, and maybe they're things that are, like, Star Wars a little more out of the way. I don't know what it is. I'm not going to pretend I know, but give me Obi-Wan spoilers, dude.
Yeah, no, for sure. But God knows we've got a lot of Marvel stuff to talk about. Want to get right to it?
It's our own news. Richard wrote an exclusive on Tuesday, and if you have not read it, please go over to the Illuminerdi and check it out. It's very, very good, big news. I think we talked about last week on the show that Daniel Richtman had dropped the information that Suma Gorath, Doctor Strange villain, would be showing up in a future Marvel project. Well, Richard broke the news of what project it would be. And why he's there.
So I'll say this before I say what it is. We should have seen this coming. He's a Doctor Strange villain, and he's going to be in Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. So, kind of a real shocker there. But regardless,
I will say it's not like we had no idea. We did speculate on that last week.
I mean, a Doctor Strange villain coming to a Doctor Strange movie?
Yeah.
Oh my God. But
that is pretty crazy.
I'd be more surprised if they announced he was like the Captain America 4 villain or something.
Okay, that's what I want. Give me Anthony Mackie fighting a giant green one-eyed octopus right now.
Yes,
that's what I want.
Suma Gorath in Captain America 4. That is genius.
Yes.
It's just Anthony Mackie shows up and he's like, oh, hell no. What?
Why isn't
Caitlin,
hell no.
Why hasn't Caitlin been hired by Marvel Studios yet is my question.
Oh my God. Yeah, that's definitely
going
genius. In my stories that I want. But regardless of what actually is happening is, Suma Gorath is going to be the main antagonist of Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. And we also know why he's there too, which is really cool and really interesting. So America Chavez is coming into this movie as well. She's played by Xochitl Gomez, which I took me forever to get that name right. So I hopefully I got it right. But regardless, so he is there in the movie because he wants America Chavez's powers to be able to control the multiverse. Now, America Chavez is this multiverse jumping superhero, and she's able to, go through space and time and everything.
She punches holes between universes.
I mean, that's absolutely insane. So that is why Suma Gorath is there. That's why he wants her powers to be able to control the multiverse. And thinking about it, it kind of makes a lot of sense. But Marvel is literally at a place where they're going to bring a giant green one-eyed octopus as a main villain, and everybody can't wait for it.
He is the Marvel Cthulhu, and he is like impossible to kill. I cannot wait. Like,
totally
tracks why this is the horror movie of the MCU right now.
Well,
yeah, absolutely.
I mean, Suicide Squad's got Starro, and now Doctor Strange has got Suma Gorath. I mean, we've got all of these giant amphibious creatures coming in to these superhero movies. I love it.
And we know there's going to be more kind of these antagonistic characters. We know Mordo's showing up. That got confirmed. And obviously we know Scarlet Witch is showing up. And I wrote a feature, again, check it out if you haven't, about how Wanda showing up might be Scarlet Witch kind of fulfilling that destiny to destroy the world that Agatha so helpfully pointed out at the end of WandaVision. Lot of options. Again, this is all speculation. We don't know. But it could be something where... Because we saw her with the Darkhold. We saw her, hear her kids' voices. So maybe she's kind of messing with the multiverse and trying to find them in the multiverse. Maybe she draws Suma Gorath's attention. He manipulates her, or she agrees to work with him. And then in the comics, Scarlet Witch has some dealings with the demon Chthon. And there's a thing where he ends up possessing her for a while. I wouldn't be shocked to see Marvel kind of use that. Because in the comics, Suma Gorath begins to take over the Ancient One, which obviously that can't happen here because the Ancient One died. And in the comics, Doctor Strange ends up essentially sacrificing himself to destroy or stop Suma Gorath, but he gets brought back because, magic. So I wouldn't be shocked to see them kind of play with that with Scarlet Witch instead of the Ancient One. But, I mean, I don't know. I think all of it's going to be fantastic no matter what way it goes. But I really hope we're going to get that kind of payoff of Scarlet Witch with this in WandaVision. Because we were all expecting her to kind of lose it with WandaVision with how much it's based off House of M. So I feel like this is the place to do it, especially since we know it's got that horror element. This is the time to have Wanda totally lose it.
Yeah. I mean, midway through WandaVision, we were, I at least I was, I don't remember if you were, Richard, but we were theorizing on the show, could Wanda be the villain of Doctor Strange too?
Episode 4 or 5 or so. Yeah, that was a real possibility.
So, and honestly, maybe it still could be. Maybe Suma Gorath is maybe hey, this is who you're supposed to think is the villain, but then Wanda's gonna come in and mess things up. And so,
I could definitely see it where Suma Gorath is the big bad and Wanda is kind of working with him. Again, manipulation, possession, or
absolutely.
Just out of her mind with grief. Yeah, so that's what I'm kind of hoping for, and I think that kind of makes sense because, I mean, it's kind of similar to how Falcon and Winter Soldier felt kind of like a setup for Captain America 4. WandaVision feels like it's really a setup for her character for Doctor Strange 2.
Yeah, and I'll say this, though. Wanda might be my most anticipated character in that movie. I mean, obviously, America Chavez is going to be great. I mean, I can't wait to see Benedict Cumberbatch as Doctor Strange again. There's going to be Wong, Christine,
and Mordo.
Mordo's coming back, absolutely. But Wanda is going to be really interesting, especially after everything she went through in WandaVision. Yeah.
What do you think is going to go down between Wanda and Mordo?
Oh, that's
some sort
great
of deal.
question.
Some sort of manipulation. I mean, they're going to team up for sure.
You know what? I was just picturing this in my head. What I could see happening. Remember how Zemo and Bucky first met up, and Zemo was trying to incite his Winter Soldier programming. Mordo, the first thing he does with Wanda, he could be trying to take her powers the way he did with Pangborn at the end of the first movie. I could see that.
and my guess is you can't take her powers because she doesn't draw them from the multiverse like the others.
Exactly.
Her is chaos magic. It just is. And I am hoping we get Agatha again.
Me too. I would love to see Agatha. I mean, Catherine Hahn was perfect.
Yes.
Yeah, and she said, "You're gonna need me." That feels like a setup for something.
And Catherine Hahn herself said she would, she's down to do more Marvel stuff.
Well, and they kept her around. They didn't kill her off.
Exactly. So, she's not dead.
So, I feel like that almost guarantees that she'll be back.
Yeah.
Whatever happens, this movie is going to be absolutely bonkers.
For sure.
I feel like that's all Marvel movies coming up. They're all going to be stacked. They're all going to be bonkers.
Movies, shows,
well, yeah, exactly.
Music
Black
videos.
Widow is going to be tame compared to everything else.
Weirdly, yeah, right?
Yeah.
Like, we've wanted a Black Widow movie for a decade, and that's going to be, like, easily the tamest thing in Phase 4. I mean, God knows I can't wait for it.
That's not a knock at all. Black Widow is one of the most anticipated because I'm really excited to finally see like her origin, and Taskmaster is going to be awesome. But it does have this almost like Phase 3 feel to it right now.
I don't know.
Exactly.
Spider-Man doesn't seem like it has anything going on.
Which one?
Spider-Man. Oh my God. But it's funny enough. Before we go on, it kind of feels like Black Widow's almost supposed to be like that because it takes place between Civil War and Infinity War, so it's in the Phase 3 timeline, and she's dead after Endgame. So like, it doesn't shock me really that it feels like a Phase 3 movie.
I mean really it is.
Pretty much, yeah. Just tacked on the end.
Yeah.
I think, and before we move on to our next little Doctor Strange bit, I'm hoping like our outcomes are, I would be happy if it set a precedent for more prequel stuff, because I think that would be a really cool thing to do with a lot of these characters that ended up being kind of side characters in the movies, and they're doing it with Disney Plus, but doing it with movies would be great too. I'm excited to see like her origin story and to see like Yelena Belova get set up as kind of the new Black Widow, which we're all assuming happens. Yeah. I'm really excited for Taskmaster. I hope that's something that really is going to grow, because
Taskmaster better stick around. Yeah.
Such a cool villain. So, yeah, I think there's a lot of really good potential. I also just think that it's going to be interesting less because of, oh my God, this is all so crazy. Like they have this and this and this, and more of like, okay, we actually finally get to know Black Widow in a way that has really been kind of teased. Yeah. Like this feels like the really kind of button on her story, where we're really going to get to see how she went from an assassin to someone who is willing to sacrifice herself to save the universe.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this movie's going to be great.
For sure.
Yeah. And then our little last bit of Doctor Strange. Kevin Feige addressed the Ancient One whitewashing. Basically, he said that they definitely should have done better. They were trying to kind of go against the expectations, but they could have done that without whitewashing the character. Yeah.
I get what he was trying to do with it when they announced the casting. I mean, I got his reasoning, but yeah, I mean, it's nice that he at least said something about it.
I'm hoping that means in the future we're going to get like really not have that sort of thing happen again. Again, not good he did it. I do think the fact that he has admitted he was wrong is something worth note.
For sure. Yeah, definitely.
Again, it's what, like, let's see what you do, not what you say. So
yeah, and it looks like they're already trying to go that route for Phase 4 with a lot of these different characters. So I think they're on the way to getting there.
For sure.
Definitely. And then I think Bryce may have mentioned something about Spider-Man.
Yeah, so there's really nothing going on with that movie, so it's kind of a shame. But Marvel Studios is working with VFX teams from Sam Raimi's Spider-Man trilogy, as well as the Amazing Spider-Man duology on Spider-Man No Way Home. So yeah, some pretty major news. I mean, do you guys think that maybe those two could be involved in the new movie?
First, I'd like to say VFX means visual effects.
Yeah.
For anyone that doesn't know that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. For sure.
I think like it's just more of like, okay, so we're getting Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield.
Just more confirmation, as if we needed more confirmation.
I'm pretty sure I've said this the last like 2 weeks. I'll be more shocked if they don't show up rather than if they do. It really just depends how much they're going to be in the movie rather than if they are or not.
I'm hoping little. I love those guys, but this needs to be a Runaway movie, not a Spider-Verse movie. They should have saved that for 4. Anyway, but
yeah. I can't wait either way.
Yeah,
I'm excited. I love
cool,
Spider-Man, so.
But I don't know if it'll be good.
I'm really curious to see like what the visual effects teams from these two franchises are bringing, because it's not like Marvel is lacking in visual effects. Like, what specifically did they need those teams for?
Yeah, no, that's a good question. Actually, like legit.
I really hope that they use for Garfield. I hope they use the TASM 2 suit because that is one? Yes. Okay. That is my favorite Spider-Man live action suit ever and will be forever. You will not get a more comic book accurate Spider-Man suit than that. I absolutely adore that suit, and so I really hope that is the one they use. Although it seems like the TASM 1 suit is usually the one that gets associated with Garfield more. That's the one that's in the video game.
You know what? I'll say this though. I don't think we've actually had a legit, like, really bad Spider-Man costume. Like, that might be your favorite. Like, I love the ones that they've done in the MCU. Yeah. I love the Raimi ones. They did a good job there. And I think they're going to... I mean, whatever costumes come in this next one, it'll be great.
So I want to see it.
Oh, for sure.
I think my favorite one is Peter's homemade one that's like stocking cap pulled all the way down with goggles and a sweatshirt. Yeah. That one's great.
That is easily my favorite homemade suit. Like, no question.
That was just so funny to me because you're like, dude, really?
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah.
At least buy like a ski mask. Like,
go Garfield with it.
Oh, man.
Oh man, but yeah, no, I think it's a great point. But yeah, I'm really curious why like those teams are being brought in. Maybe it's with the Doc Ock stuff, you know, like maybe they want to make sure it really matches. Because the other thing to remember is
maybe how the three Spider-Man mesh with each other. Maybe
because the other thing to remember is like versus where visual effects were with like Amazing Spider-Man and all the way back to the Spider-Man trilogy, it's leagues ahead of where it was.
Yeah. And don't get me wrong, those visual effects back in the day were pretty solid for the early 2000s. Like they still hold up fairly well today, but the way they progressed and advanced since then is incredible. So
yeah. So no, I'm excited. I mean, like,
so, just real quick, do we think that this is probably the most leaked Marvel movie ever? Like at this point?
See, here's the thing. It could be, but there's still a lot of this plot that we don't know. Like, I mean, we know a bunch of people that are in it, but we don't really know any specific plot details. I'm not trusting that leak, to be honest.
And even the people that we know are in it, it's like, you know they're in it. Yeah, and you know they're in it because of like, okay, it's Spider-Verse stuff going on. And so you're like, okay, so they're bringing in these other people, like the multiverse stuff. But it's not, how are they there? How do they stop them? What's happening? How does the on the run stuff come into play? Right. Like there was I think the leak about Charlie Cox being in it. So it's like, how does that work? So
yeah, I'll say this. Tom Holland's birthday is in about a week. I don't think we're getting anything. I'm not gonna.
You think that now on everybody's birthday there's gonna be a new?
Just because it's not completely out of the realm of possibility because the movie comes out in about 6 months. Yeah, it's about 6 months. But
I would guess we're not getting the trailer. I wouldn't be shocked
if we saw first,
a teaser or something, maybe a poster. I would love if we got a leak from Tom Holland on his birthday. That feels like the perfect birthday present to his fans.
Just a picture with Maguire and Garfield going like, "Oops!" Like,
oh no, even better. Have Maguire and Garfield do it, not Holland.
Yeah. Yep. One of my favorites is still him showing off the poster, reading on the back to not show. Oh no! Like, amazing.
That was amazing.
He's like not to be shared. Oh!
I just love that he's embraced that. Like he is just Mr. Spoiler. It's great.
Even though
him
Mark
and
Ruffalo has spoiled way more. Like if we're being honest, like Mark Ruffalo has done way worse than Tom Holland. He literally spoiled the entire movie, basically with the entire ending of Infinity War, and then he recorded the first 20
minutes. Of Ragnarok.
It's on his phone because he had to do the like Instagram live thing for Ragnarok, and they're like, "You're streaming." He goes, "No, I stopped it."
Turn off your phone.
like genuinely sure he was. I'm not sure. I mean, I clearly turned it off. I'm like,
And
maybe
it's like-
you guys should have like checked on that stuff. Like,
Right?
I feel like
Oh
when they just
my
hand
God.
actors like the phone for this kind of stuff, I'm like, do you not have a press person following them? Really?
Have
Like,
have
right
either of
next to
you
them?
actually seen the video? It's got to be out there somewhere.
I haven't
haven't.
seen it,
I don't
but
think it's like I don't think you can really see what's going on because it's in his pocket, but you could hear
Right.
it.
Right, but I
You can
want
probably
to hear
hear
the
it, yeah.
lady yelling at him. Like,
like, you know, I want to hear it, like, because we've seen the movie God knows how many times now. Like, I just
Yeah.
watched it last week on TV. I want to see, like, how far it actually goes into the movie. Like, is it the whole Surtur fight?
yeah, I just
Is it,
want to
like,
see
when he
the
gets back to
end. Like,
Asgard?
I just want to hear the lady from Marvel screaming at him.
Right?
Like, I think that's just so funny to me. Like
Oh,
obviously I feel
man.
bad for Ruffalo because it's like
Oh,
a
yeah.
Me too.
accident.
Me too.
But and it's probably really embarrassing. But
I mean, again, that to me is almost like Marvel. Why don't you have press people like?
That's
pay
as much
attention to
their
this
fault
stuff?
as it is Ruffalo's.
Sure.
Totally
Yeah.
feels more like their fault. Like you gave them the ability to live stream, and you didn't check that the phone was off
You weren't
before you
all
started
over it.
playing it.
Yeah.
That's on
Seriously.
you, man.
Yeah.
Come on.
Oh, my God. That was great, though.
Oh man.
No, I love the Tom Holland one with the poster though. That like because he
Yeah,
just
that's
was
one of
so
my favorites.
excited to show off the poster and didn't see that there was a note on the back.
Well, I think it was
Right.
clearly staged though because the entire video was mirrored. But if you notice, whenever he pulls out the poster and it says "Please do not open," it's not mirrored. So
Right.
So it's just like why is the "Please do not open" part the only thing that's not mirrored? So
Staged or not
For sure.
staged, I love it.
Yeah.
That's just
Yeah.
that to me feels like
Yeah.
like staged or not, that just feels like the most realistic thing ever. Where if I got a poster and I was like, this is so cool, I want to show it off.
yeah.
Right. Man, I'll say this. Whenever we do get the Spider-Man No Way Home trailer, that I think is undoubtedly going to be the biggest trailer reveal possibly ever. Like, it's going to rival Infinity War and Endgame.
I'm curious what they're gonna show in the trailer.
Yeah,
Me too. I hope they show more of the On the Run stuff. Maybe like the only thing I'm maybe hoping is maybe like a little tease of the masks or something from Maguire and
like
Garfield.
holding the masks, kind of
Yeah.
Zemo style.
Yeah. Or even like a digital version of them like that leads into the logo. That'd be cool.
Or seeing like the holes from the multiverse like kind of starting to open.
That'd be
I
cool.
feel
Maybe
like
like an arm or something. Yeah.
At this point, they have to use it for marketing purposes. Everyone knows.
Yeah.
It's just like why if everybody knows, why wouldn't you want to market them?
For
Yeah.
sure.
Like,
Yeah.
that just doesn't
No,
make sense to me.
It's gonna be big when it comes though. I'll
For
say
sure.
that much.
For sure. And then last Sunday after our show, we got a full clip from Black Widow.
Yes.
That was a fun clip. I mean, it shows kind of the dynamic we're going to see between Natasha and Yelena and that kind of sisterly bond but it was also just hilarious where Yelena was the one who kind of saved the day in that moment because she like they're driving and Natasha's like get down and the person chasing them who we don't know exactly who it is and is shooting at them kind of shoots out the back window and Yelena's basically like, what's the plan? This is the plan. Drive away is the plan. Well, it's not working.
Sucks.
Right?
Well, your plan sucks.
So she has her turn the car around, kicks the door open, has the door get whacked off the car, and then the door skids out and like clips the bike that the person chasing them is on so that they're out of commission. I'm like, that's freaking awesome.
The action in this movie is going to be something really good, I'm betting.
Yeah, like we're saying this isn't probably going to be like one of the more tame movies, but I think the action is going to be like epic.
Top notch, yeah. I mean, it's Black Widow. It has to be.
I mean, it's going to be a fun movie regardless. I mean, yeah, I think it's definitely going to be the least crazy out of the Phase 4 lineup, even probably the TV shows. But
I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing.
No, it's not a bad thing.
And that's
it's
not
just
saying anything bad about the quality. Everything is so good.
But I mean, the action is going to be top notch. And Taskmaster, Taskmaster is going to be
Taskmaster,
awesome.
Yeah.
I've been wanting.
I was just gonna say I kind of like that it's not like overloaded since it is supposed to be her movie.
Yeah,
agreed. I've been wanting Taskmaster in the MCU since the Spider-Man video game. He was a super cool like side villain in that, so hard to beat.
Yeah,
and no, he's gonna be awesome in the MCU.
I hope he makes it out of this and starts his henchman.
Me too.
Like business, because that's just the funniest thing to me.
Yeah,
Like,
for sure.
But yeah, I'm really excited for this kind of family dynamic that was not even a found family, but a government created family. So I'm really kind of interested in that. Yeah, I'm interested in that and how it's going to play, because we've seen like teases of it in the trailers, and it really seems like, as much as Natasha's kind of like, I guess, a little bit resentful of the fact that she had this family that was like kind of created, I do think that they all really care about each other, and we're still going to get kind of that dynamic, because even in like the first or second trailer, it was like, don't slouch when you're at the table, and you're just like, that's such a parent response.
Seriously. And plus seeing her again after seeing her in The Mummy, that's gonna be great.
Yeah
Rachel Weisz.
And then, I mean, Florence Pugh, they're setting up for like some cool stuff, because we know
she's gonna be important.
Yeah, we know she's showing up in Hawkeye. So
yeah, that was a direct exclusive.
Oddly, I'm hoping that like Black Widow, if it leads into anything, it's Hawkeye.
You know what the interesting thing about that though is, like, because we know when Black Widow takes place, and then Hawkeye supposed to take place like a year or two after Endgame. So I'm really curious to see how they fill in the Yelena Belova timeline there.
Yeah. And I feel like, because I'm really hoping Hawkeye also really deals with his grief and like almost survivor's guilt with Natasha. So I'm really hoping we kind of get a little bit of I don't know, even maybe like an end credit scene. Like, I know Hawkeye is not going to be the one after this, but I wouldn't mind something that really had payoff down the line.
Yeah. Speaking of Hawkeye and what you were saying, I really hope they kind of go with him like the way they went with Bucky a little bit in Falcon Winter Soldier. I could see them going a really similar route, and not even like the guilt of like same thing as obviously the Winter Soldier went through, but just with Natasha, that'd be something special.
Yeah, I almost don't want, like, I want him to be a little messed up about the Ronin thing, but less about feeling guilty.
Yeah, that could actually be really cool.
Because I'm like, okay, he killed a lot of like really bad people.
Yeah, he didn't kill people that like it wasn't like the Winter Soldier, but
no, it's like human traffickers.
Exactly, like bad
or
dudes.
Punisher.
Yeah.
Or Punisher.
That's a better example. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, like if a superhero kills human traffickers, I'm kind of okay with that. I'm not gonna be like, but they killed them. I'm like, yeah, they're awful.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So, but no, Black Widow's gonna be awesome.
Yeah, and I'm really glad we got a clip, because that's coming in basically like 2 months.
Speaking of Hawkeye,
just a little less, yeah.
Do we think we're gonna see him in this movie? He's a pretty important character to Natasha.
I could see maybe a cameo.
No,
but
not full, like not starring. I mean, I know
for sure.
by now, but like at some point in the movie.
That wouldn't shock me.
I think a post-credit scene would be the perfect place for him.
Yeah, I think they're really going to try to focus it on Natasha.
No, and I
first
think
and foremost
should.
in this movie.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, yeah, as they should, absolutely. I could see him coming to the post-credits though.
Yeah, me too.
That would be my favorite.
Or at least some sort of cameo at some point.
For sure, yeah, absolutely.
I almost feel like we're gonna have to see her kind of like really like figure everything out and kind of have all of her affairs put in order, since we know that down the line she dies. So I don't want it to like have I don't want there to be any loose ends unless they plan to do some kind of follow-up.
Yeah, spoilers for a 2-year-old movie, the biggest movie in movie history.
Well, now second biggest, technically.
Yeah, after 2 re-releases. Come at me, Avatar.
Oh my god, there's like 4 more of those that we have to deal with.
Oh, Lord. Yeah.
Let's move on to happier topics, because none of us want to talk about that.
All I'll say about this is I do not think they're going to come anywhere close to the original in terms of box office. I mean, we'll see how box office is by then, but I think people are a little bit used to it by now. I think it's been so long of a wait that it's not going to have the impact.
You guys aren't excited for Avatar? Really?
Do you even remember like Avatar? Because the craziest thing to me about that movie is it's like the highest grossing movie. It had no real like major impact on like pop culture.
Really.
No, I still haven't fully seen Avatar.
You know what? I don't blame you, to be honest.
I've seen bits and pieces.
It's a fine movie. It's not horrible. But
I tried to. I tried to watch it with my girlfriend at the time, and we got so bored. Like it was literally just background noise. Like
Pretty much, yeah.
we
The
like
visual
I had no
effects
idea
are
what was going
special. I
on.
will say that, but
We just
outside of
turned it off and started playing
the
like
visual
Mario
effects are
Party
special,
stuff.
but other than that,
You have to see it in theaters.
in
Oh,
3D,
oh,
in
should
IMAX,
I?
on a giant screen.
Yeah. But I mean, that's the only way where it
You
works.
fully, yeah.
Because otherwise, all the visual effects, which are the point of it, get lost.
Hey, here's hoping. Here's hoping.
Yeah. But we got a lot of Loki like teases and clips that have been kind of getting dropped this last week. I mean, there's a lot of it. You want to kind of give us a little bit of a rundown of what we know now, Richard?
I mean, yeah. I mean, thankfully too, because the show comes out in what 2.5 weeks. So,
Yeah.
I mean, the promotional tour is really, really starting to amp up, as it should.
Yeah.
But like some of the clips we've gotten, we got like a full version of Loki's chat with Owen Wilson in the elevator, getting into Time Variance Authority. We got that whole Miss Minutes thing,
She's creepy.
It's kind of creepy. Yeah. I mean, I can't, it's creepy, but I can't wait to see how it plays into the show.
I was expecting her to be funnier, I think, because she's animated. And I'm like, oh, you're creepy. Okay.
I'm going to love Loki so much.
No, Loki, I don't think I'm crazy saying this. Loki could blow WandaVision and Falcon Winter Soldier out of the water with how crazy it's being set up as. I mean, and like we're saying, Falcon Winter Soldier and WandaVision were amazing. Yeah. I think Loki might just be that damn good.
I think Loki is setting up for, because we know there's going to be a second season. So they have a little bit more room. I also think that because they're really exploring a new area of the MCU in a way that we haven't, because yes, we didn't seeing this part, seeing Sam really grow into becoming Captain America, seeing all of the post-blip stuff, and then on Wanda's side, seeing her deal with the grief and seeing her powers and the sword stuff. Those are all new, but this feels like a completely new corner of the MCU. So I think that aspect of it is going to be interesting, because the only real familiar part of the show is Loki himself. And even this Loki isn't the Loki we know. It's a variant that got kind of shunted out of the timeline with the Tesseract after the events of Avengers. So I think part of the reason it feels like it has a little bit more room to breathe and explore is they aren't as constricted, because we know now Falcon and Winter Soldier, it was leading into Captain America 4.
Yeah.
WandaVision, it's leading into Doctor Strange 2. Loki really and I think there's been where it looks like Loki's going to be tied to Doctor Strange 2 in some way, which isn't a shock. Mm-hmm. But Loki really feels kind of a little bit more about itself.
Yeah, Loki definitely doesn't have a fixed end point, I think, or end game as if you want to go that route. Yeah, I know.
Get it?
I know.
Avengers Endgame, like the Marvel movie.
Yes.
Thanks, Bryce.
Thanks.
Good explanation.
Good Lord, I didn't think I could get any worse.
That was great. Get
it? But yeah, and I mean, I think the biggest thing with this series is just Tom Hiddleston and Loki is one of Marvel's iconic character to actor matches. And literally anything where we can get Loki in a starring role I'm all for it.
I'm excited because they've said it does this isn't going to completely count out the Thor trilogy, which includes Ragnarok. So I think that's really cool. I love the scene where Owen Wilson's character gives him his daggers, and you have the other TVA agent walk by and go, nope, and just grab him. Because why would you give this guy knives? What are you doing?
That's the thing I think I'm most curious about for this series is how exactly they deal with the character development thing. Because like you said, we're getting him from Endgame where he was at his peak villainy. So Avengers. Yeah, exactly. The Avengers timeline. So all the character development from Dark World, Ragnarok, Infinity War, that's all kind of thrown out the window for the time being. But I'm curious to see how they kind of tie back into that.
Yeah, so because they have said it's not gone. It will still have effects. We also know they've said that we're getting multiple variants of Loki, so I think that's gonna be really interesting. I mean, that's a way to have it not be gone, is we get a variant of the Loki from maybe right before before Infinity War.
Between Ragnarok and Infinity War, yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So no, I'm looking forward to it. I think there's a lot of really cool opportunities. It's gonna be. I mean, Loki's just gonna be fun because Loki is a character that, if done correctly, is fun. I don't think he was done. I don't like villain Loki as much as kind of jackass trickster Loki, like we really got in Ragnarok. That's kind of my favorite version of Loki. Like,
I do love Ragnarok Loki.
Don't get me wrong, I totally like Loki wanting like power and the throne is important and good, but I think having that without having him be like genocidal is more fun.
World dominating, yeah.
Yeah.
Real quick, Donnie Pearson's back in the chat. He says he's looking forward to Loki on Disney Plus, and we are too.
As are
Loki is going to be pretty awesome. I can't wait, especially the weird like best friend thing that's going on with Owen Wilson.
Seriously, Owen Wilson in Marvel is going to be amazing.
Yeah.
I've loved Owen Wilson for a while.
It's just like I never would have thought of Owen Wilson in a Loki thing, but now I can't imagine Owen Wilson not in Loki.
Not in the Loki.
And the show's not even out yet, so...
You've literally stabbed people in the back like 50 times.
Or when he's so arrogant. Like, it's very funny. It feels like friends and like enemies and like
for sure,
each other. Like, I'm really excited for that manipulation because again, it's Loki. He's a trickster god, so I'm really wanting them to lean into that, and I think they will. I mean, obviously they saw Ragnarok worked, so I don't see them going back on that.
If we don't get one Owen Wilson, wow. We have to get that.
What if instead of Owen Wilson is Tom making fun of Owen Wilson?
Okay, that would be even better.
Oh man. And then Tom Hiddleston is producer on Loki.
Hey, you know what? Not shocking. Good for him. That's awesome.
Yeah, he deserves it.
He's been with this character for a while, so
a decade. Yeah.
Yeah. So that to me, hopefully he gets a little bit of like say. Like that, that's
producer would imply that to me.
Because
so he's not like an associate producer, so.
No,
same way that Scarlett Johansson's one for Black Widow.
Yeah, so I'm expecting him to have a little bit more like control over his character. So I think that'll be.
I like that. Yeah, and he knows it better than anybody. So.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, that to me is one of the things where I'm like, okay, maybe we're really gonna get trickster god Loki, not world domination, genocide, alien Loki.
For sure.
And we got a little bit of Marvel news left for Ant-Man 3. Like a little bit of interesting tease.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Evangeline Lilly has been doing some Ant-Man teasing. Are they filming that yet?
Not
yet. I think this summer.
But she teased some stuff with Ant-Man 3, Quantum Mania, best title they've ever done and will ever do. And she teased some stuff with the Volume Tech and Yellow Jacket from the first film.
She teased Yellow Jacket. The director talked about them using Volume Tech.
Right, there you exactly. Go. Peyton Reed.
So never mind. But but yeah.
And actually, that actually makes a ton of sense now because didn't Peyton Reed do an episode of The Mandalorian?
Yeah.
I was gonna say, and they used the Volume Tech on that, so that actually makes complete sense why he would choose to do that on this movie. And I know they're doing it on Thor also, and but yeah, and then Yellow Jacket stuff. That's the one that kind of shocked me. Actually,
Peyton Reed, he did like 2 episodes. He did the second episode of season 2, and he also did the finale. So
yeah,
right.
So yeah, he boy, and for him to do the finale, I mean, that was holy. That finale was insane. So
he's involved with the Mandalorian.
Yeah.
And I dig the Volume Tech. I mean, I think it's just like one of the best things to come. Like, don't get me wrong, Mandalorian's awesome, but that is one of the best things to come out of the Mandalorian. Because you almost have to look at Ewan McGregor talking about like having to act against the blue screens and how he's excited to actually act like with sets and with the Volume Tech. Like that to me is like it is going to elevate the actor's performance, and it just makes it look better for us as viewers.
For our audience at home and not for me, can somebody explain what Volume Tech is?
So I think the basics
really
of it is that it's kind of like
I was gonna say they explain it really well in the Star Wars Gallery Mandalorian stuff, which is essentially the Star Wars version of the Avengers Assemble.
Yeah. So is it kind of like a giant dome screen kind of thing.
I don't think it's like the top covered, but I think it's basically like essentially, I don't even know if it's 360 necessarily, but so it's basically most of a circle. It's like a sound stage that has, instead of green screen, you have actual like LED screens that have the background.
Project
so
the
instead
background,
of right, so instead of having green screen and then adding the background in post, you are working with the background.
Wow.
So if you're in space, the actors and the director and the DP and cinematographer and everyone can actually see what it looks like.
Crazy.
Exactly.
Okay, wow.
Actually,
that is amazing.
And it very much came, it's Jon Favreau is like the big guy, like big person behind that. And part of that is from when he worked on the Lion King live action, which not my favorite live action, but from a technical standpoint, invented a lot of like really interesting stuff. Like he used video game technology to actually film it and direct it in a way that had never been done before. So this is very similar, where you're not standing in green screen and hoping it works. You're actually seeing, oh, we're on an ocean planet and we're on a boat and you have these waves and craziness going on.
It's incredible how it looks.
Cool.
Yeah.
Nice. So nice for the people at home who are just now learning this. Thank you for explaining that for them and not me. So I really appreciate that for them.
Oh man.
Yeah, for sure. But I love the volume tech in Mandalorian. They're going to be using it in I think like Obi-Wan. I'm assuming it's going to be in Boba Fett and Ahsoka, because that is also Favreau and Filoni. I kind of am expecting it with a lot of the stuff, like live action Star Wars for sure, but I'm also expecting it in the Marvel stuff, because that's also Disney. And I'm honestly just hoping it becomes kind of the norm for a lot of this, like especially sci-fi, fantasy, like superhero stuff, so that it's not just actors standing in front of green screens and hoping for the best.
Yeah,
because if you've seen the behind the scenes of Aquaman, it looks ridiculous.
That is ridiculous. Yeah, but no, we know they're using it on Love and Thunder. Taika Waititi basically confirmed that, and he was on The Mandalorian too. So all these Mandalorian alum,
now, I think.
Right?
One of my favorite things about Taika Waititi on The Mandalorian, other than like the fact that I'm pretty like, because he directed the finale of the first season, right?
I think so, yeah.
So he killed off the character he was voicing, which is amazing. And then he started a petition to bring the character back. And you're like, but you did that!
Taika Waititi might be my favorite, like, entertainment media personality possibly ever. I mean, bringing him on for Thor Ragnarok was the best decision Marvel ever could have made.
He saved Thor.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes. Real
like
quick,
Thor Ragnarok is
Real quick, Donnie Pearson says he's got to go. Thank you, Bryce, Caitlin, and Richard. Have a great week, everyone. Thank you, Donnie. Thank you for tuning in. You have a great week. All right.
But yeah, Ragnarok is easily the best Thor movie.
Yeah, no, we got Tester in the chat. What's going on, man?
Passing it off. Nice.
But no, like he saved the Thor franchise, because now like Thor's sticking around for a while. And can you imagine if there was another like Dark World for the third one? Would we even want him?
Yeah. Oh man.
Jeez. Like Dark World is enjoyable enough.
It's fine.
It's definitely in my bottom 3 Marvel movies.
It's fine, and Marvel movies shouldn't be fine.
Yeah. Exactly.
Thor was one of those franchises before Taika Waititi got it, where I was just like, who cares? And
Taika Waititi
but now with Taika Waititi at the helm, I'm like, give me Thor 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I mean, like, you know, like
seriously.
I mean, I love Thor. I love the Thor franchise now. This is awesome. Tester says he really missed this. Oh man, he missed an hour. But
don't worry about it.
Unfortunately, we had to change time slots. That was a weird scenario. But this is our
this will be our normal time frame.
So we start now at, help me out, 1 Pacific time.
1 p.m. Pacific.
Because I'm in a different time zone. So
and
yeah, for sure.
After the stream ends, you can catch the hour that you missed.
For sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
We did talk about Doctor Strange 2 already. We can circle back to it a little bit. We theorized kind of that Wanda is going to be tied to, because we broke the news about Suma Gorath being in Doctor Strange 2, and that he's going after America Chavez. Good job, Richard. And so we theorized, and I had a feature about this, but we theorized that Wanda is going to be tied to Suma Gorath in some way because of the destiny of her destroying the world as Scarlet Witch, because of the Darkhold and her hearing Tommy and Billy at the end of WandaVision. So we kind of are thinking that she's going to be maybe the one who brings Suma Gorath in. Maybe she makes the multiverse kind of like thinning in some way, which I think would be cool. And I also think that's a really good way to kind of tie her into Spider-Man without having her be in Spider-Man.
For sure. So
yeah, we kind of really were talking about how we think that she's gonna hopefully really this is her time to have the follow through and lose control and kind of lose it like we expected from the House of M influence on WandaVision that we didn't really see.
For sure. So yeah, I mean, I think that's pretty much all we have on the Ant-Man 3 front.
Well, remember when we were talking about Ant-Man?
Let's talk a little bit more about the Yellow Jacket tease.
Right, for sure.
What happened was Evangeline Lilly like posted a picture of her script without any like actual spoilers on it.
Oh, okay.
Says,
that's like
it's just like the title page. It's just like the title page, like literally no actual information on it. It says, "Got my script, read it, love it, can't wait." And she tagged, like included the hashtag for Corey Stoll, who played
Darren Cross.
Darren Cross, aka Yellow Jacket. So that kind of brings into question: are we getting Yellow Jacket back?
I mean, we're going to the quantum realm. He got sucked into the quantum realm basically at the end of Ant-Man 1. So I wouldn't be shocked. I mean, this is gonna be another crazy movie, just like the Doctor Strange 2, Spider-Man 3. This one's gonna be nuts.
And it also has the best name of any movie ever made. So I don't make the rules. I'm just kind of saying, but yeah.
You're just stating facts here.
So no matter what happens, it wins because of its name.
Ant-Man Quantum Mania. What a great Iron Man. I love that name so much.
Yeah, and for Tester, we thought Yellow Jacket died. We're assuming he died, but now we're not sure.
Yep.
I mean, it's the quantum realm. It's weird.
Anything's possible.
Yep.
And also, comic book characters don't die. So
no, exactly.
That's fair.
Yeah, this is a comic book movie. Nobody is officially dead.
Yeah.
Except for Uncle Ben.
Well. And I would have said Gwen, but they brought her back too. So.
And Batman's parents.
And Batman's parents. God, we're dark.
When we go into DC, I'm gonna have a comment on this, but I will hold it until then.
Okay.
I actually find it interesting because I would have never expected Yellow Jacket to pop back up.
No.
Not in a mean way. It's just it felt like
his story be kind of told.
Yeah, he did his thing. He played his part.
Yeah, and he wasn't a bad villain. Like he wasn't, great, but he wasn't horrible. So
he wasn't super memorable.
Yeah, that's fair.
I honestly, before we were whenever we were going over the show last night, I literally couldn't remember his name, his villain Yellow Jacket.
Right.
So
for sure.
It's one of those B types that stings you. It's fine.
Yeah. Well, I kept thinking Bumblebee. I'm like, well, no, that's a Transformer.
That would be a really weird crossover.
Yeah.
Can you imagine? It's like Ant-Man the Wasp versus Bumblebee.
I am Optimus Prime.
Whoa, that was actually really good.
Thank you.
Oh my gosh.
Oh man, yeah. No, I'm
send
really
in
curious.
a super chat, and Richard will do a story in the Optimus Prime voice.
I need to stop either doing voices or being good at them because that is basically the super chat.
Super chats here on the channel. They help out the show a ton. If you send one, Richard will do his Optimus Prime voice throughout the whole story.
Before we move on with anything, Richard, you think being bad at a voice would make us not have that as an option for them?
Oh God, that would make it worse, wouldn't it?
Yeah. Why would you think Richard's going to do the voice he just was terrible at? Like, come on.
Oh, Lord.
You didn't think that's true at all.
We've got some DC stuff to get to, don't we?
I was just going to say, if Yellow Jacket's in it, I'm curious what his role is. Like, is he gonna have a lot? Like, is he just kind of be a cameo? Like, what would you guys expect?
Yeah, I
No, I
don't
think
know,
he'll
to
have a
be
bigger
honest.
role.
Well, because this
If they're
movie's
dealing with the quantum realm, and he's in the quantum realm, I think he's gonna have a bigger role.
Okay.
I mean, this movie's supposed to introduce Kang the Conqueror. I'm not sure how much room like Yellow Jacket's gonna have for.
Ever heard of
a big
Spider-Man
role.
No Way Home?
No.
Yeah.
What's that?
No, clearly not. What is it? What's happening? Tell me about it. Walk me through it.
Yeah, I don't think Ant-Man is too full.
It's Spider-Man, but he misses the butts. He's lost.
I just totally went through a Ragnarok. Okay, so Ragnarok. Tell me about that. Walk me through it.
Oh man, but yeah, I mean, I'm excited for more Quantumania news because like we're getting like it really feels like we're building to the young, like obviously we're building to the Young Avengers, and I'm hoping we kind of get a little bit of payoff here in some way.
Yeah, no, like Ant-Man 3 could actually really set up some huge stuff. I mean, like Kang's associated with Young Avengers. We're getting Cassie obviously as more of a superhero. She's going to become Stature. That could actually be the movie where like maybe the Young Avengers start assembling for the first time. It's still almost 2 years out. It's not coming out till.
Yeah, because we already have Tommy and Billy.
We've got Eli.
We're gonna have Kate and
Bishop.
Hawkeye.
Miss
Marvel. So like we got a lot of them coming into play. I'm just really interested to see kind of when that culminates.
Yeah.
You know?
It's really not a matter of if, but when.
Yep.
Yeah, and how.
Mm-hmm, exactly.
But yeah, that is our big Marvel news for today. Again, we will have, I'm sure, tons more to talk about with it next week. Yeah.
For sure. Yeah, there's always Marvel stuff to talk about.
Yeah, I mean, Marvel's got a project coming out every 5 minutes, so.
It feels like it. I mean, this year still, there's 8 more projects that are coming out from June to December, so we're not going to be lacking.
8 months left in the year.
There's 7 months when Loki comes. That's ridiculous. Can't wait for it.
Okay, so we are dropping into our DC.
Yes.
And we got lot of fun DC news, one of which is another exclusive that we broke at the Illuminerdi.
Really? I must have missed that.
You know what? We have had a really busy week. I wrote an exclusive, Caitlin wrote a feature, and then this feature came right from Bryce. Yep. So big week for us.
This is an exclusive for Bryce, yes.
Yeah, those are rare. No, but yeah, it had actually been a while since my last exclusive. My last exclusive before this this Green Lantern exclusive I'm getting ready to go into was another Green Lantern exclusive all the way back in December.
So 6 months almost.
Yeah, so it's been a long time.
Nice.
But yeah, I'm excited to get back into it. I've actually I had another exclusive come out after that, and then I've got another one that's pending. It's not Marvel DC related or Star Wars, but it's still a pretty fun.
So what's the Green Lantern one though?
Yeah, probably should talk about that one. So the Green Lantern exclusive that came out a couple days ago is about Alan Scott in the Green Lantern series coming to HBO Max. So that's a lot of fun. They're kind of circling around an actor. We already know that Finn Wittrock will be playing Guy Gardner in the series, and that is confirmed. However, the Green Lantern series / HBO Max is circling around Jeremy Irvine for the role of Alan Scott. He has not yet officially signed on, but that is who they have offered the role to. He is in stuff like Warhorse and the TV show Treadstone. And so yeah, we're getting some more casting news from Green Lantern, and it's Alan Scott, which is interesting because we definitely haven't seen him in live action. We haven't seen Guy either, but I think I'm really excited to see Alan Scott because this is definitely going to be a very different Green Lantern. The others, their powers are pretty much all the same. They all come from the Green Lantern Corps, but this is different. Alan Scott doesn't really come from the Green Lantern Corps, and his ring is actually powered by, you wouldn't believe it, a Green Lantern.
Well, Alan Scott is the first Green Lantern.
Yeah.
Like ever.
Yeah, the original, the OG.
Oh,
So his...
okay. So he, I didn't know if that. I kind of always figured that the core was always around. So that's not the case.
No. So Alan Scott in the comics, like the first mention of Alan Scott, I believe, I might be incorrect if I am. Please correct me in the chat. He was around before really the Green Lantern and Green Lantern Corps was a thing that was created, and he was more like you were saying, Bryce. He has an actual Green Lantern.
Mm-hmm.
But that got kind of changed and retconned in the comics after the Green Lantern Corps, and his powers, again, I think they're sort of a little different than usual. In some, they're connected to kind of this green force thing that's really kind of interesting. Yeah. It's tied to nature and stuff.
Yeah, well,
right.
I was actually gonna get into that. Scott's powers also kind of have a weakness to wood and plant-based matter, which is interesting.
Mm-hmm.
I don't really think that's something that the other lanterns have to deal with. So
right.
So I'm interested to see how they kind of show the difference between Alan Scott and then I believe then we'll go to Guy Gardner and Bree Jarda in the 80s, right? And Alan Scott is in the 40s.
Yeah, I think what I'm maybe most interested about with Alan Scott, aside from the powers stuff, is that he's a like closeted gay character that's going to be living in the 40s. I think that's going to be really interesting, especially since he's kind of this and he's this media mogul. So it's not like he's a public figure. So I think that's going to be really interesting to see. I'm excited about that.
Yeah.
I'm interested to see what they're doing with Sinestro. Like we kind of theorized back when that got the character dropped. Is he going to be in all three time periods?
Right.
And if he is, how does that work out? Because it almost feels like Guy Gardner has, like we said, Bree Jarda. You have the other two whose names are escaping me at the moment.
Simon Baz and Jessica Cruz.
Yes, they're in more of the like modern time period. Alan Scott feels kind of on his own. Yeah. So I'm hoping that this might really be where we're going to see some of the Sinestro stuff.
It'd be fun.
Yeah, for sure.
Especially if if Alan's powers aren't the same. So really having Sinestro be the Green Lantern presence in there would be kind of cool and kind of interesting.
Yeah, and here's one thing I'm thinking for this series too. Like, we know that most of these lanterns, Guy Gardner, Alan Scott, Jessica Cruz, they're going to be the main characters, and Sinestro's they're casting for him right now. Do you think we're going to see any sign of Hal Jordan at all? Because we know he was the main character in the Ryan Reynolds one, but it doesn't seem like they're really
they're holding him and Jon Stewart. I think they've said
so I
for later
answer to this. So they're saving them for Green Lantern Corps, which is the movie. So
okay, that makes
I wouldn't
more sense.
be surprised down the line if the show and the movie intertwine.
Yeah.
That could
be cool. One more thing that is actually fairly important to this story.
Spoilers.
Spoilers. So if you don't want to be potentially spoiled for Green Lantern on HBO Max, plug
your ears.
Plug your ears. Come back on. But Irvine's proposed deal for Green Lantern as Alan Scott is being described as a 1-year deal. Unlike Witchrock's role as Guy Gardner. So this could mean that Alan Scott could have a unfortunate fate
one and done
by the end of the series.
Yeah,
could be a one and done. Yeah.
I think there's a lot of options for it. I'm gonna be kind of pissed if they go with killing off the queer character.
Well, yeah.
That's just my personal. That always bothers me. But I mean, that's definitely an option, and if it makes sense story-wise, I'll live with it. Mm-hmm. I also think it'd be interesting if maybe they just aren't in the 40s next year.
Yeah, they could be doing maybe focusing on one time period at a time.
Yeah.
Yeah, like we know that it's all three in this first year. Maybe they're doing a different 3 next year, or they're focusing on the 2 that have multiple characters.
Yeah.
Maybe he loses his powers, and so he's not going to be in it. Maybe he disappears. There's a lot of options. But I think it's definitely something that's worth noting and worth, like, it stands out because it does mean, okay, there's more to the story than what we basically knew already. Like, that feels kind of like the biggest piece of the story to me, is it's a 1-year deal. So what does that mean for his character?
Yeah. And it's supposed to be, what, 10 episodes, if I remember correctly?
I think that sounds right.
That sounds right, but I don't remember.
Yeah, I don't know for sure. Don't quote me on that. But I feel like it was something like 10 episodes.
Yeah. So no, I think it'll be interesting. I think Alan Scott's going to be kind of an unexpectedly cool character.
Yeah, I'm actually kind of excited for it. We haven't really seen anything like it yet, especially not in live action. So I'm really looking forward to seeing Alan Scott in the series.
Yeah, I mean, I personally am happy we're not getting Hal Jordan or Jon Stewart because we get to focus on these Green Lanterns that never really get as much attention. There was like animated Justice League, like Justice 5 or something movie that had Jessica Cruz in it.
That was the I gotta look it up now.
Yeah, she was in it, and it was animated, so they didn't super get into it. But she's got a dark backstory, so I'm really hoping
Justice League versus the Fatal 5.
There we go.
Okay.
She's got a dark backstory. Like, her backstory in the comics is she basically survives, like, when her and her friends go, I think, camping, and her friends get murdered, and she survives.
Wow.
Like, it's a crazy dark backstory. So I'm really hoping we dive into that. And she's got crazy bad PTSD. Like, all of these characters that we're really going to be focusing on in the series are cool. And even Brie Jarda, who's kind of this new character, I think, for the show, she's really interesting because she's half human, half alien, and we haven't really seen that. And she's going to be kind of dealing with Guy Gardner, he's a jerk. And it's going to be that 80s feel, and so he's going to be this kind of macho dude. And so, I'm really excited that we're focusing on these Green Lanterns that are not the big two. And even Sinestro, Sinestro is the villain usually. So really getting to see him be like the top-notch Green Lantern is going to be cool.
I will say one weird thing about this is the absence of Kyle Rayner. Like, he is like one of those lanterns where it's like he kind of falls under the category of not as popular as Hal or John, but he
right
I'd
there.
say he's with Guy and Simon Baz and Jessica Cruz. So where the heck is Kyle Rayner? Like
maybe he shows up at the end of the season. Yeah. Maybe if it's like a time thing, maybe he gets the ring when someone falls. Like maybe depending on what they're doing with Alan Scott, if he has a ring but it's disconnected or not the same, maybe Kyle Rayner gets that one.
Maybe.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I think we're gonna get more lanterns as the show goes on, which I think is gonna be cool. And I'm really hoping we get to really go into the outer space element of it.
And one interesting thing about that Justice League versus the Fatal 5 movie is that it's actually set in the DC animated universe, like of all the TV shows back in the 90s and stuff.
Yep.
So
yeah, for sure.
So they kind of brought that back a couple of years ago, so that was fun. But there we go.
But yeah, no, this is gonna be a cool series.
But yeah, so that's our big Green Lantern scoop, and stay tuned. We got more stuff coming.
Ooh.
Yeah.
No specifics, but we got more scoops coming as
always.
We like to have.
Per usual, we like to be.
And speaking of the animated DC stuff, we've got 2 new animated DC shows coming.
Yeah.
Which I am psyched for. We've got an animated Batman series, which is correct me if I'm wrong, J.J. Abrams, Matt Reeves, and Bruce Timm.
That is correct. Yep.
And Matt Reeves obviously is the Batman and Gotham PD. J.J. Abrams is
Superman.
And then Bruce Timm is the guy from the DCAU. He's Batman animated series, Superman animated series, Justice League Unlimited.
Justice League versus the Fatal 5. So
yeah, he is DC animated universe from the 90s and early 2000s. So I can't wait because Batman animated series, if you haven't watched it, is on HBO Max. It is just fantastic. It is one of my favorite Batman storylines ever because you get to see all of these different villains. You have Batman being a detective. You've got some actual cool Robin stuff going on, and you have Batman animated, and that rolls into the Batman Robin stuff later. So you get Nightwing down the line. Batman animated is like top-notch DC in my opinion. So the fact that we're getting like the creator of that is involved with this, I'm really excited. And especially they're saying it's going to like kind of lean into the noir elements. It's going to be a different Batman origin than we're used to, and the image is like old school Batman with the big pointy ears. So I'm really excited for it. I think it's going to be fun. And then we have an animated Superman series coming that looks sort of like anime style. So that should be cool. I personally like the DCAU. I feel like the Superman show is kind of the weakest because there are definitely times where like Batman works really well because he has that detective element. Superman is just, there's a bad guy, I'll punch him.
Yeah.
Whereas this one, it's kind of this trio of Superman, Jimmy Olsen, and Lois Lane. Like, and it's kind of Superman coming into his own and like as Superman, but I think also as like this reporter. So it looks kind of like Superman coming of age, which I think is going to be really interesting. And the guy voicing him is Jimmy Quaid from The Boys.
All right.
So yeah, I'm really excited about both. I think both are going to be really interesting and really cool. And again, it's not this. It seems like they're not going to be what's expected. Like when they're saying it's kind of a new take on Batman and a new like take on Superman. I'm really excited to see how they do that and what that means. Yeah. Because I mean, which one do you guys think you're more excited for, Superman or Batman?
Batman.
I'd probably have to lean Batman. I mean, I love both, but yeah, Batman.
I like the look. I think the anime look for Superman is a very bold move. I can't wait to see what they do with that one. But I definitely think the Batman one looks Batman, and so it looks very faithful to the character. So I'm really and with Tim, Reeves, and Abrams attached, like holy crap,
solid team.
Like that is going to be spectacular. I cannot wait for that.
Sure.
But Superman looks really cool as well.
Yeah, I mean the Batman one, you're kind of like it's tried and true. We know it works. Mm-hmm. And with Superman, it's like okay, you're taking a different take on it. So
which is cool.
Yeah, I'm excited for it. I'm really excited to see what that means. I almost feel like I hope they're kind of taking a page out of like the first season of Supergirl's book where they can do those like case of the week style things, but it's not stale. Because I really felt like Superman animated. Yeah, a little bit. So I really feel like the Superman animated series would get stale sometimes unless they had episodes where he was in outer space dealing with stuff. There was an episode where Clark Kent died. So Superman had to figure out what he was going to do with that, or when he was dealing with like Toy Man. But there were definitely times where you're like, okay, so he's going to like punch this guy. But there was no like deeper thing to it where Batman is, I got to solve the case. I got to figure this out. I got to like know how to do this. So yeah, I'm hoping it like I'm hoping they really kind of lean into that coming of age style to it and him kind of really being, because he wasn't awkward as much in the Superman animated series. And I feel like if we have Superman still being kind of that awkward, figuring out how to be Superman, that's going to really help keep it fresh.
Definitely.
I also like that Jimmy is going to be African-American.
Like Supergirl.
And, yep. And it looks like Lois is Asian.
Cool.
Yeah, no, it should be a good new show.
Yeah, so I think both are going to be great. And then there's an Injustice movie in development. And I don't know much about Injustice, but I'm sure Bryce is very excited about that.
Yeah, that's going to be cool. Basically, long story short, Joker blows up a bomb on the Daily Planet, kills Lois, and Superman goes crazy. And makes this regime, and Batman and Lex Luthor form a team to stop him, and so basically the Justice League is kind of split into half. It's basically DC Civil War. So it's a really fun storyline, and I think it's going to translate to a movie really well. So I think that's a really good move on DC's part. It's animated. So it's not Cavill and Affleck. Sorry, folks. But or as far as I know, maybe they'll be voicing them.
Man, I hope Conroy is coming back to do Batman.
That would be cool. Yeah, honestly, like if they do the animated series cast, that would be so dope.
Yeah.
And Lex Luthor is one of the good guys in this, so that's an interesting twist as well. So,
super weird. Yeah.
I like DC Animated's kind of killing it.
Yeah.
Well, DC Animated's always been really good, like really solid.
Yeah, it's super underrated, but but there's just
100%.
so much of it.
Yeah.
That like I want to watch it all, but I can't. So
exactly.
But they do some really good stuff on the animated side.
For sure.
Definitely. Yeah. So I'm excited for all three of those things. I'm now really excited for Injustice. That sounds cool.
Yeah.
Like really weird, but cool.
Yeah.
I like it. I
Definitely.
always love those kind of like Elseworld things of like, what if Superman wasn't really Superman? Like there's the one where it's Red Sun. That's great.
For sure.
So yeah, I'm excited about that. And then we got some Batgirl news.
Yeah. So the two directors attached to Ms. Marvel, remind me on their names.
Adil El Arbi and Bilal Fallah.
Thank you very much.
Good job.
Set to helm a Batgirl movie over at DC if it ever happens. So that's really cool. I'm hoping, since they've done Ms. Marvel and they've kind of proved themselves. Obviously, the show isn't out yet. But I mean that's a pretty big project, and obviously they're confident enough in the movie for them to make the Marvels. I think Ms. Marvel is definitely going to be a hit. So it's interesting to see them go over to Batgirl now. I'm hoping this means that there will be a Batgirl movie that gets made. Previously,
I think for HBO Max.
That'd be cool. I don't know.
I think it's HBO Max. Yeah.
I don't know for sure if that's the case. If it is, then that's cool as well. But previously attached was Joss Whedon. Dodged a bullet there. So I guess it's only up from here, right? So
yeah,
I say this is good news.
And like these guys did an incredible job on Bad Boys for Life last year, which came out early 2020. And I mean, obviously they're on Miss Marvel. We don't know how many direct episodes they're directing of Miss Marvel because there's a couple other people involved also. But I mean, they're rising up the ranks of great directors. So good move on their part.
I mean, that feels like weirdly the perfect combination. Bad Boys for Life meets Miss Marvel feels like Batgirl.
Weirdly enough, I didn't think about that, but that actually feels like it kind of works.
Right?
There you go.
Yeah.
They're doing it. If DC can get their stuff together.
Yeah, I can't wait for Miss Marvel, and this should be really good too.
Yep.
Man, we talked a little bit about it earlier. I think really exploring these other DC characters is a good idea. Like really getting into the Bat family and just having Batman kind of as this like figure that's always there but not the main character is a really cool thing that they could do.
Well, especially if Michael Keaton's going to be the main Batman again. So especially if they go that route.
Yes, they could build Batgirl. We could have Nightwing. We could have
Nightwing, please.
And
a good one this time.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
We could have the whole
no
Red
offense to
Mask
Brendan Thwaites,
thing.
he does a good job. It's just he was written horribly.
With what he got.
Yep.
With what he's got.
Yep.
Yeah, we could have the whole Red Mask thing come into play. I would love to have like essentially a live action Batman Beyond, but I think if you build out the Bat family first, then we'll really care about Terry McGinnis because it's a character that not a lot of people know.
For sure.
So yeah, I think this could be a really, really smart move. And I really hope that they get it done. I mean, the fact that they have directors for it to me is a good sign.
Yeah, I would assume so.
But the two DC movies that got canceled a while ago also had directors attached that were actively
almost every other DC movie that they've announced and since canceled.
Yeah.
So
like it's not like they get canceled because there's no active work on it. So I'm hopeful. But I'm also, we've been burned a couple too many times, so we're going to kind of be like,
here's hoping.
Cautiously optimistic.
And cautiously also, optimistic, real quick, do we think this is DCEU or in the Matt Reeves universe?
Oh, that's a good question. I would guess DCEU. I think they're trying to keep Matt Reeves kind of as its own thing until if it hits big, then I think they'll build it out.
Yeah, we'll see.
So I'm curious if they're going to try and, I don't think they should, but I wouldn't be shocked to see them try and tie in Joaquin Phoenix's Joker to Matt Reeves' universe. I'm not even saying he'd be the like main Joker. He could be kind of like the original Joker, and the one that's around now.
That movie was amazing.
It's like later.
That story is over.
It's not. They're developing a sequel.
To me, it's over.
So the Bryce Joker 2 just doesn't exist.
Yeah.
I think the way to really use that Joker
make a
movie
Mr. Freeze movie. Like don't make Joker 2. Make another movie like Joker, but with someone else. Like just
make it a franchise.
I love Joker. Let me be clear. I love Joker. It doesn't need a sequel. It just doesn't.
I think the way to make it a franchise is the other Rose getting their origin stories. And I think the only way to do a Joker sequel is to make it a Harley Quinn origin story.
Yeah.
Because you need Joker for the Harley Quinn origin.
I also don't want another Harley, like Margot Robbie's Harley Quinn. You know, for me anyway. I don't want to see anyone else besides Margot Robbie. You know, she's like Ryan Reynolds for me.
Bryce has very specific movies that he wants to see made.
Yeah, well, I want to see a Harley Quinn movie with Margot Robbie. You know, why get rid of Margot Robbie? You know, so
you don't necessarily have to if they lean into Elseworlds after Flashpoint.
Yeah, they have a ton of options. Yeah. Hopefully they pick the good ones.
But I still don't want a Joker sequel or spinoff or whatever. So
they're gonna do a sequel. It made them a lot of money.
It did. Made them $1 billion.
I know that.
The fact that you're like, don't do it, and they're like, but we won an Academy Award and got $1 billion.
But money,
right? But money and prestige
doesn't mean I have to be happy.
Yep.
Again,
love anyway,
Joker.
I think that's.
Don't want to see.
I think that's mostly the news on that front, right?
Yeah, we have some kind of more funny,
ridiculous. I don't know how to put it.
DC news.
I'm just gonna go right into it. Yeah,
take it away, Richard. I don't know how to tease this one.
Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson is playing Crypto the Superdog.
Crypto the Superdog.
Like, I don't know how to react to this. I mean, look, I love The Rock. He's an amazing voice actor. Moana is one of my favorite Disney movies ever. Hearing that coming out of Superdog might be one of the funniest things.
He needs to have a musical number in the the Super Pets movie.
I love that he's Black Adam and Crypto.
Right?
Why?
Like two completely opposite ends of the spectrum.
I love it. It's I remember that.
We get more Rock.
I remember that like Crypto cartoon from back in the day. Crypto does not sound like The Rock, dude.
No.
He does now. He does now.
He will now.
I mean, I never expected actual news on this movie. Did you guys expect actual news on this movie?
Yeah,
God,
did you guys even expect for this to ever even come out? I mean,
no.
No. Not even sort of.
Now it's definitely... Well, now we know it's coming out because The Rock's in it.
They canceled New Gods. They canceled New Gods for Crypto.
Yeah. Yes, I fully believe they canceled New Gods so they can make room for Super Pets.
Wow. That sounds pretty DC to me.
Like, for that reason.
And I now live in a little pocket dimension where New Gods was canceled because they wanted to make Super Pets instead.
Oh Lord. But yeah, no, that's gonna be a fun one.
You know what I can't wait to see? Who the hell else gets cast in what roles?
Is Kevin Hart going to be in it?
Infinitely more excited.
He needs to be Sneaky, the cat that's Supergirl's cat.
Yes.
I am now infinitely more excited for this movie now that The Rock is in it.
You mean from 0 to like 10%?
Yes. Yes.
At the scale of what, like 0 to 100, you went from 0 to like 10 or 15. You're like, okay, I'm actually interested.
Well, compared to 0, anything is infinitely more excited.
Yeah.
I mean, 0.01 could be more excited, infinitely more excited than
Lord.
Oh,
but
yeah, like I said, I don't know what to do with that. Dwayne Johnson is Crypto.
No idea. That's happening. That's a thing that's happening.
That's exactly it. That's happening. That's gonna be a thing.
Yep. But hey, at least we get more Rock news also. So
yeah, in the vein of what we're expecting from Dwayne Johnson in DC, we have some Black Adam
news. In the real world, where Dwayne Johnson's playing Black Adam and not Crypto the Super Dog.
Please do a crossover, by the way, DC.
Oh, that has to happen.
Oh, yes.
Oh, Lord, yes.
Oh, my gosh. No. You know what they're going to do? Like, The Rock wants to do the fight with Henry Cavill Superman so bad, but they're just going to have him fight Superdog instead.
Or he's like pummeling Superman, and Superdog steps in and saves the day.
Oh, my God. The Rock saves The Rock from himself.
Oh my gosh. But as I said, we have some Black Adam news. We got a little bit of a look at the costume. It's not a great look.
No.
It's very much in shadows, but it's kind of the look of the like cloaked hooded figure with like the boots. It's not the full like Black Adam costume that you're expecting, but it's a pretty like decent look for when he's, I think, more like in hiding on the run.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Well, this also wasn't this like a look for him. I remember I did some research on this in the the New 52, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. Like it's definitely, it's from the comics. It's not like a random thing, but yeah, it's. I mean, part of it too is you're like, cool, that's a super dark picture.
Oh yeah, like you could see the boots. That's about it.
Yeah, and then we got a little bit of a tease in like an Instagram post that Dwayne Johnson shared, where you could like fans zoomed in and you could just see like kind of a small triangle of his actual costume under his I think robe. Right. So like we've gotten little teases of what's to come. I think they look cool. I mean, like I said, the little triangle, you can't really see anything other than like you've got the little hint of yellow on the black, and I trust them to do that pretty well. And then the other one, like I'm excited for kind of that like cloaked look, because I don't think he's gonna be wearing that obviously during like the big climactic fights and stuff, but I could definitely see him wearing that kind of when he first gets there. So I think it'll be cool. Yeah,
I'll say this: they did a really good job with the Shazam costume for Zachary Levi.
Yeah,
I mean, two things. I think they do a great job on this one, and I'm pretty sure even with the rumors of the padding stuff for Zachary Levi, which I don't believe, there's sure as hell not going to be any padding rumors for Dwayne The Rock Johnson.
It's all fake. He has no real muscles.
What?
No.
I believe it.
Yeah, that's going to look incredible.
Yeah, and then there's also a little bit of a tease of Hawkman's ship. So it sounds like it's going to be pretty comic book accurate. Yeah. So, I mean, like, that's the thing. This all sounds like it's going to be pretty comic book accurate. So that is just, it's another kind of good sign that it looks like they really care about making this movie, like, really for the fans. I think when you make superhero movies with fans in mind, not necessarily like fan catering, but with fans in mind, it tends to go better. Like, I feel like the MCU is kind of built on that because the people making it are fans.
Right. That's exactly what I was going to say. That's why the MCU has been so successful, is because the people behind those movies are diehard fans of the comics and the material, and they know, at least in a sense, of what the fans want most of the time.
Yeah, and even when they do things that break expectations, it is something that they think about story-wise. It's not just to do it. So I think this looks like, the fact that it seems like they're really kind of leaning into the comic books, as they should with a comic book based movie. It's a good sign. It's kind of I think our big takeaway from that.
Yeah, definitely.
So make your pictures not as dark.
Yeah, seriously. Give us something.
And in a similar vein, with a little bit of reveal, we got some new Batman looks.
Yeah, so we got a new look at the Riddler costume in the Batman, and it's very duct tapey.
Segue. That looks less of what you're expecting from the comic book.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it's definitely not very comic booky. But it kind of makes sense with what they were kind of doing in the trailer with the duct tape thing.
Feels very like serial killer Riddler, which I'm not. It's not what I expected, and I'm gonna hold off on judgment until I
Yeah.
see it.
So, I mean, it's definitely a very different look for the Riddler. They're definitely going very dark with this movie. So, it's now I don't. Was this a rumor, or am I just talking? Like, am I just saying a bunch of nonsense? Was there a rumor that this was going to be rated R?
I don't know.
Maybe, but I don't know if they would go full R on this one.
Yeah, I don't know if you're gonna do that when you're trying to have a TV show come out of it.
Yeah, good point.
I could be wrong.
The Suicide Squad.
Yeah, but that's built around that. I don't know if you're like with how DC is trying to rebuild stuff. I don't know if you go with Batman as rated R.
Maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know. We'll see.
But
But they're
I could
definitely
be
going
wrong.
a very dark tone with this movie. So I don't know. It's definitely different. So I'm looking forward to seeing what they do with it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm excited for the fact that it's basically like Batman Year 2 and origins for the Rogues. Like the fact that the Rogues are not as like I'm curious, is this Riddler trying to figure out his style? Like is he going to kind of have
early Riddler?
Yeah, is he going to have more of what we're expecting by the end of the movie, or is this what this version of Riddler is? Cuz he feels very like I want the riddle stuff, man.
Yeah.
I think we'll get it. We're gonna get it.
Yeah.
He's the Riddler.
We'll probably get it eventually.
You have to get it. You have to have it.
Right. For sure.
But yeah, also, like, does that stuff hurt when he takes that off?
That's a great point.
Paul Dano or the Riddler?
No, the Riddler. Like, in story. I don't think it's actual duct tape. Like, in story, does that hurt?
If you said both, the answer would have been yes.
But yeah, and we got a little bit like of another look at the Batman costume. I mean, it looks good. Like,
yeah,
it's a solid Batman costume.
Solid.
Yeah, there's not much to say beyond that.
Right.
So yeah, I mean, I'm looking forward to Batman. I'm really like kind of early Batman, but not at the start is going to be cool. I think that like older Batman could have been cool. I just don't know. I don't like how they did it, but so I'm excited to get kind of the Batman that is less established and still figuring it out. Like he's still kind of a myth. He's like this urban legend in Gotham.
That's to be cool.
Well,
so I think that's
he was
be really
in
cool.
Batman versus Superman. That didn't make any sense.
Yeah, I like. Well, like I was saying, I liked the idea of a Batman that's been around for 20 years. I didn't like the execution.
Yeah.
They had great ideas for that movie that were not executed well.
I mean, that's like all of those.
I think that's ZSJL though. So.
Anyways, but no, the Batman is going to be really cool. This is the most excited I've been about a Batman movie in a while.
Since Nolan?
Yeah. Well, since Lego Batman. Lego Batman was just a ton of fun.
I mean, I was excited for BVS.
That's a Lego movie before it's a Batman movie.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think I was still I was really excited for BVS. I definitely wasn't as pleased. I don't think it's as big of a catastrophic failure as people like to say it is, but it still was a little disappointing.
There were some highlights in that movie. I will say that.
But I mean, I get the Martha thing. I get it.
Yeah. Oh, that will never be a thing, ever.
No comment on my opinion on that one. To a little bit of Aquaman info.
Yeah,
right, Richard.
Yeah. Nothing too crazy. Nothing like plot related or anything. But we heard that Jason Momoa actually wrote some of the script for this movie, and like. This just continues like the whole thing we've actually been talking about a lot today, like how Tom Hiddleston was a producer on Loki, and now Jason Momoa is part of the script on Aquaman 2. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think he was a producer on the first one, right?
I don't know.
Maybe.
Yeah.
No, I think these guys having ownership over their characters to a degree is very cool.
Yeah, for sure.
I love it. You know, it's kind of funny thinking back on it. I'm kind of shocked it hasn't happened more like before this. Like I could have seen maybe Robert Downey Jr. doing that with Iron Man, or like even Chris Evans maybe doing it.
They've done it a lot at DC. The Gal Gadot was a producer on Wonder Woman 84.
Wonder Woman.
Margot Robbie was a producer on Birds of Prey. So and maybe
she was like a
producer.
She was a producer who was like running it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I think it's cool that he has some input. I think the big spoiler, like you said, no plot information. Water's involved. That's about what we know with Aquaman. Right?
Wait.
Yeah.
Water involved with Waterman. Breaking news.
Right? Yeah, that's about all we know.
What did you say? Well, damn! Now you spoiled
I
whole
ruined the
freaking
entire
movie.
movie.
Yeah. Aquaman 2 has water
Lord.
in it. Thanks,
But
Caitlin.
I love that we're getting these like ownership, because it really, to me, it means they care.
Yeah.
And if you have an actor
Absolutely.
that actually cares, it's going to be infinitely better than someone who's just there.
For sure.
I hope this becomes a trend more than a one-time thing.
Yep.
Yeah. And I mean, with how big superhero movies have gotten,
Oh yeah,
it makes sense, because I feel like part of the reason superhero movies and shows work so well now is so many of the people behind the scenes and in front of the camera are people that grew up with this stuff.
for sure. Yeah.
You know, it's not someone who's just like, oh, you want a Superman movie? Yeah, I can do that. That's fine.
Yeah. Like one of my favorites is like Tom Holland as Spider-Man. He said he grew up with like the Tobey Maguire movies and the Andrew Garfield movies. He's wanted to be Spider-Man since he was like 5 years old. And now he gets to do that. And it's like the same thing with, Gal Gadot and, Jason Momoa and all these guys. They love these characters. And I think it shows in the movies.
Yeah, I think if DC really leans into that, they're gonna really like have.
It could help them rebound.
Yeah, like I think it'll give them some good quality stuff. Because I mean, I'm looking forward to the majority of the DC movies coming out. Like I'm looking for the Suicide Squad. I'm looking forward to Black Adam.
Mhm.
I'm looking forward to Shazam 2, Aquaman 2, the Batman. I mean, the Flash, I'm kind of iffy on, but I think
I'm hopeful.
I think it could set up some really cool stuff.
For sure.
So yeah, I think DC's got, like, we give it a little bit of like,
We give it a hard time.
yeah,
Sure,
but I will say, like, even though me and Richard kind of give it a hard time, especially the DC movie side of things, we're definitely
feel like he was. I'll have to check that out. But regardless, he's returning for Shazam 2. Not too much of a shocker, but cool to see him back.
He like disappeared in the first one. I think we kind of expected that he was gone.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, fair point.
I'm hoping that we almost get it like flashbacks, like we see how he got, because he's the original like Shazam, right? So I think it'd be cool if we saw him get the powers of the gods.
That would be really cool. And
maybe even a little bit of Black Adam teases as well.
Yeah, I would rather have that than him helping the kids, because I almost want the Shazam family to still have no idea what the hell is going on.
I'd much rather it be just Zachary, just Billy Batson trying to help them through it. I mean, like Shazam,
he has no idea what's happening too.
Yeah, like Shazam isn't a great movie, but it is easily like one of the top 2 most fun movies in the DCEU, and I think it needed to be. And like Zachary Levi kills it. So
first off, I love Zach Levi from all the way back in Chuck, and second off, to be honest with you, for comic book movies, I can forgive a lot if it's fun.
Yeah.
Exactly. And Shazam, if nothing else, was fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. You got Zachary Levi flossing in that movie. Like that just wins.
I love the whole sequence of him trying to figure out his powers. Like
Me
he
too.
jumps off a building, like nope, don't have that. Can't do that yet.
I love when he's jumping off the skate ramp trying to fly, and then he's like,
yep.
Just face plants.
And when they're like the real estate agent trying to get like a lair.
Yeah, for sure.
Like it's those moments where you're like, oh yeah, you're 10.
Exactly. He's like what, 13 in that movie probably.
Yeah, and in this movie he'll be like 20. So.
Yeah, right. That's the one bad thing about this kind of stuff, is because it takes so long to do a sequel. You're like, cool, not actually a kid anymore.
Yeah,
exactly. Like they could probably get him to pass for, because this is going to come out 5 years after the original. So
I think so.
They could probably get him to pass for like maybe 16 or 17 or something. Yeah. But
oh my God, Bryce, you're not that far off with 20.
Oh Lord, yeah.
Well, it's like if I play Shazam right now.
There we go. You'd have to shave. You'd have to shave.
What? Oh no! I the cool superheroes have beards.
At 15?
So
we have our last little bit of DC news. So we got a little bit of a tease from David Ramsey about his John Diggle appearance. According to him, and he could be
totally lying,
steering us in the wrong
It's a
direction.
ruse.
But according to him, John Diggle it looks like maybe didn't accept the ring at the end of Arrow, and his reasoning kind of makes sense. It's the only reason I'm kind of like, okay, maybe he didn't accept the ring at the end of Arrow. Maybe he has to later, but maybe he didn't at the end of Arrow, because for him and his, like, he got his wife back after Crisis. They have not only, like, they have 2 kids now because their daughter got unerased by Oliver. They're moving to a new city. His best friend died. Like, it sort of makes sense to me for him to go, I can't be an alien space cop.
All right, so here's the thing.
Yeah, for sure.
He's gonna accept the ring, because it's not his choice. So it's true. I mean, isn't that true? Like,
I'm not saying he won't. I'm saying he hasn't.
But
Hasn't
I
yet.
agree. But I'm just saying that, like, I don't think he gets an option. Like, I'm pretty sure, like he has to accept the ring because the ring chose him.
Pretty sure picking up the ring was akin to accepting it in the ring's perspective.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
So
because the ring has a mind of its own and all.
So Ramsey may be saying that Diggle declines the ring, but he's going to become Green Lantern, whether or not Diggle wants to or not.
Well, I think that him declining the ring is a good way to set up an arc for him, because otherwise it's widely popping up in all these shows. Other than Legends, where apparently he's an entirely different character. It looks like he's going to be in the Old West episode, and they said it's an actual historical character from the Old West. So I am hoping it's like the U.S. Marshal Bass, like the best U.S. Marshal ever. Like, that's my hope for that one. But yeah, I think you're right, Bryce.
John Diggle will become Green Lantern.
Yeah.
Eventually.
No, I don't disagree. I think that is definitely the reason to have him there, because otherwise it's just, I'm showing up in the other shows now.
Let's go back in time to 2012 for a second, and tell our past selves that that John Diggle goes on to become Green Lantern like 10 years later.
Right.
Like, that's just crazy.
Seriously.
Awesome, but crazy.
They teased it multiple times. Bass Reeves, that's the guy that I hope he's playing. Bass Reeves, because he's got in the picture, he's got the mustache and everything. So I'm really hoping we get that. He's like one of the best. He's like the best U.S. Marshal ever, and he's black. So it was like a legit thing in history. That was very cool. But no, I mean, they teased it a lot in Arrow. You had in Elseworlds where the other Earth's Flash said you're not wearing your ring. We found out that his stepdad's last name is Stewart. Like, it's been set up, and then you had the big obvious ending in Arrow where he picks up the ring. So I think having him maybe decline it at first is a good call, and I think really digging into it, because they said he's like going to show up because he's having headaches or something. So my guess is he shows up in, I don't know, Flash or something first. It might be that he's showing up as Batwoman first. I don't remember, but I think I want them to almost tie it in to him still not feeling ready because of the time that when he took over as Green Arrow, he was using painkillers to like dull the nerve damage. So I feel like if they tie in that would be really interesting. Yeah. I think there's a lot of ways to go with
Regardless, I think they're doing a lot of fun stuff with Diggle's character post Arrow, and I'm excited to see that he's still around.
For sure.
So I would have liked to have seen him get his own series. That definitely will not happen. With Green Lantern on HBO Max being a thing, and the Green Lantern Corps movie using Jon Stewart.
Do you think you're setting it up for him to be recurring in like Superman and Lois or something?
I want him to be a main, like a series regular in Legends, like as Green Lantern.
I don't know if he would fit in there because Legends is so weird.
I think John Diggle becoming Green Lantern is pretty weird. Like,
yeah, but this is like the weird like C players. It's not characters that are super well known.
I think,
and honestly, I feel like if they were gonna do it,
like,
I think Superman and Lois or Flash.
Maybe.
And I don't think he'd be a main character. How much longer does
Flash have?
Yeah, but I don't also know how long David Ramsey wants to be doing this. I mean, he's been doing it now for probably 9 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he started in 2012, right?
Mm-hmm. So.
Yeah. So I'm not, like, I'm hoping they're gonna, because I don't want it to be where he accepts the ring, he becomes Green Lantern, and then he dips, he's never seen again.
Yeah.
That would kind of suck. But
Right.
I could see him popping in and out of Superman and Lois. I would also really love if they kept John Jones from Supergirl and had him popping out of Superman and Lois. So wasted on Supergirl. I would love to see him
he
like
needs
over
to be
at
on
Superman and Lois.
Like I think that show would be able to do John Jones justice.
And that
and he has
also
such an interesting chemistry with Clark too.
Yeah, and that also makes sense to be the show where you keep these two characters who were more like side characters than maybe they should have been in their original shows.
Right.
Like Green Lantern and Superman makes sense. Martian Manhunter and Superman makes sense.
I mean, you got Green Lantern, you got Martian Manhunter. Those are founding members of the League. You got to use them.
Yeah.
So.
I almost feel like if you're going to take anyone from these shows that are ending and put them in Legends, it's Dreamer and Brainy from Supergirl.
Probably, yeah.
We just, they had like a 2-episode side quest.
Or some of the Black Lightning characters.
Yeah, like they had a 2-episode side quest where they went back in time.
I don't know. Kid Flash had Legends, right? So.
And then the actor left again.
Yeah.
It was the best explanation on Legends.
I mean, but Kid Flash, Wally West is a pretty major player. So I wouldn't completely count it out.
Well, I just loved on Legends. Like he went traveling in Asia to find himself. Didn't he do that last year? It was amazing.
Oh man.
And we also got our first official look at the Impulse costume. Right?
Oh, that is so sick. I love that.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
That is straight out of the comic book. I love it.
And there was behind the scenes photos of like the actor who plays Impulse and the actress who plays Excess, like kind of like talking, and it looked like sibling arguing. It was very funny.
Nice.
I'm really excited for that because I think they're gonna have a really cool chemistry because they both the actors have that kind of feel to them of, oh yeah, these are Barry and Alan's 20-year-old kind of spazzy kids.
Yeah, right.
They're doing like weird stuff on Flash right now, so I'm really hoping we kind of get back.
With it right now?
Yeah. Yeah. I know, but like Flash is always weird, but they're doing this weird thing with the forces, like the Speed Force is kind of, spoilers for anyone, evil, and then Barry and Iris also accidentally created like the Strong Force, the like Fear Force or something, and the Time Force, and they're like, there are children, and I'm like, this is weird. So part of I think why it's so weird to me is we know we're gonna see their actual kids.
Right.
So I'm not sure if they're like trying to set that up in a strange way. But yeah, I'm excited for when we finally kind of get back to, I mean, part of my issue with The Flash is it doesn't feel like it's a show about The Flash anymore. It's like
all the other characters.
Yeah. Like I don't care as much about these Force things as I feel like I should. I'm kind of like, can we just have Barry doing stuff as the Flash? That'd be great.
Seriously.
But yeah, so I think the 150th episode is going to be fun at least because we're actually going to get Flash stuff again.
Mm-hmm.
Should be.
And I mean, we're getting David Ramsey on like all the shows. And he's also directing, and he's not directing all the episodes he's in. Some of them are other episodes, which is really interesting. But yeah, I mean, I think you're right, Bryce. I think he's going to end up having to take the ring. I also think it's really smart of them to have it where that's his actual arc and not that he pops up as Green Lantern.
Yeah. Sure. Yeah. I can see that for sure. Yeah.
So yeah, I think that is our news for today.
For sure.
Stay tuned for the Illuminerdi for new exclusives and features and news. Join us Thursday for the Star Wars watch along with me, Richard, Rob, and Josh. We'll be watching episode 5 of The Bad Batch. Join us back here again next Sunday at 1 p.m. Pacific.
Same time.
We are locked into this time.
Yep.
Yes.
And we've got tons of other shows. Bryce can list them off for you because he has them more memorized than I do.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So we got about a trillion Power Ranger shows. So we got plenty of that. We got this show, the Marvel DC Star Wars recap show. It's all connected. We've got the Bad Batch watch along. There will also be a Loki watch along. And Richard is going to have another Loki show, right? You got your
Loki
recap
lowdown.
Loki lowdown.
Yep.
That'll the Loki lowdown. I love it. Oh, we got
once Loki starts
Riker Maneuver, Wrestling in Order. We got something for everybody, so definitely be sure to subscribe with those post notifications on to be notified of everything that comes on to the channel here in the future. Again, thank you all so much for watching. Our social media handles are down in the description below if you want to follow us on Twitter. And thank you all so much for watching. And remember, here at the Illuminerdi, we're always watching. Take care.
See you guys.
Bye.